Tonight, 16 hopeful competitors will enter the most unforgiving tournament to ever grace the primetime octagon, the Xbox Grand Prix. One champion will enter, and only one man can end the night with that championship. 16 of the best Xbox players will each put it on the line to be named the champion. But first, they must run the gauntlet. Multiple grueling rounds of fighting will take place until one fighter from each side of the bracket has reached the final. All championship bouts tonight will be 5 rounds, which means Dirty Dave will have the furthest and the longest to go until glory. Many men have dreamed about not only competing in the Grand Prix, but winning it, and tonight they all have that chance. Triumph, loss, heartbreak and glory, all that await tonight. It's the most devastating tournament in primetime history, and it starts right now, kicking off the new season. Welcome to primetime.
What is going on, you beautiful bunch of savages? I am your host, as always, Cyrus the Looney, and joining me in the commentary booth for this historic card, the Primetime Xbox Season 4 Grand Prix, is the one and only Mr. Humbledink, and the man narrating that intro for us so beautifully, Doctor Who. How are you doing, lads?
I am doing fantastic, and we are back for Cyrus. I always say it's my favourite time of the year. It's the Grand Prix. Every guy has been earning their place in this one. They've got to fight for 7 months. They've been fighting, Doc. 7 months they've been building their records to get to this, and this is truly the best of the best. You know, there's certain people that can't show up in that top 16, but the next lot jump in, the next guys jump in the best, and this is literally going to be the best guys fight each other in the prime time rankings.
Yeah, this is how it goes. Everyone who could possibly compete within the top 15 is in here tonight, including the champ himself. You got Dave fighting, you got Trixie fighting, you got Pug fighting, you got Mr. EK Naz fighting. It's a who's who here.
Yeah, honestly, man, there's as to be expected, right? These guys compete all season long, really put in those kind of standout performances to get themselves up in those rankings, and this is what it all leads to, the opportunity for the next season to get into the Grand Prix, which is one of our biggest events, throughout the season. Getting to see all these guys matched up and under a different sort of circumstance where they really truly do have to run that gauntlet. But as you mentioned, Doc, leading us into the first one, we actually have BFAP Dirty Dave, the current reigning champion from the last season. He's going to be coming in and fighting in the very first fixture of this evening up against B3's very own Pablo Grips. Now, of course, interesting to note that the champion will be defending his belt every step of the way through, and it will be a 5-round fight every time that he is competing. If he loses, of course, then Pablo will become champion and have to defend it right to the very end until only one is standing, my man. Only one is standing.
Yeah, Dave has said he prefers 3 rounds, so you got to imagine maybe these isn't going to benefit him, but if you're the champ, 5 rounds are the way to go, and you've got to prove that each and every step of the way. The first round's going to be bantamweight, so expect a lot of Yan bands, in fact, and then maybe a lot of Aldos and TJs and those type of styles here.
Yeah, definitely. And there was a lot of Yan bans. As we're saying, you do get the chance to ban somebody, Cyrus, in this one, and the other one gets to pick the fighter. And there was a lot of guys banning Yan, but on this occasion, it looks like Dave is going to get the chance to be Yan. I know it was a Cejudo ban, I believe, on this one, which was kind of strange. Dave has gone for the Peter Yan. And like you said, we're starting off with the title fight, Cyrus. Pablo Grips has got to be over the moon that he's going to have a chance to win the belt on the first fight. He's got a chance at the belt, Cyrus, on the first fight of prime time tonight.
I mean, hell yeah, man. It couldn't have gone any better for him if you want to think about it that way. First fight of the evening, he gets to come in here and hopefully, for him, shock the world. Dirty Dave, of course, is an experienced champion. He has been around the block, but traditionally, I think he would have gone at Henry Cejudo here, so I think that ban actually played very nicely in Pablo's favour, Doc.
Yeah, I do think so, well, but Yan's such a difficult fighter. His health stats, his overall boxing capabilities. He's also got the same move as Henry Cejudo, which is an Oscar-gari trip, which may have been what Dave was going to really look for here. So he's in the same stance. Pablo's got to be wary of blocking that takedown here as well.
Yeah, I do love that as well. It's been a great fight so far, and these two are really been technical. But that's more something I love about Prime Time's rules is the ban. The fact that you could get an opportunity to kind of ban the most OP character in the division if you're that low rank fighter, and it makes sense essentially, Cyrus, because you've got to be tactical with your picks, and that's what we're seeing in this tournament so far with all the picks we've seen. With Dave doing really well of going to the body and going ahead of Pablo. It's been a back and forth contest so far, but full positioning would say Dave is in control at the moment.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job of pressing Dillashaw up. I do think that Dillashaw's landed a couple of good shots. Pablo Grips is being fairly efficient, although he has missed that lead head kick a few times. Makes me wonder whether or not he's semi-doing it deliberately to try and set up that straight, but it's been some good exchanges so far. Only one big shot is all it takes, though, Doc, to kind of really start heating it up. You can already see a couple of these shots from Dirty Dave starting to get through on Pablo's block.
Yeah, Dave is timing his shots well. He's landed a couple of lead head kicks. Talking of leg kicks, kicks in general, you see that lead leg of TJ's. He's coming out quite a lot. He has got to be wary of, because if he throws at a wrong time, a rear hook by Dirty Dave can come out and get him clipped there, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. I've been studying Dirty Dave recently, and there's some certain techniques. He's very tricky. He's got all this patience, and people talking about him being so patient and holding you on the ground and kind of picking his opportunity. But if he gets you hurt, expect a spear. If he gets you kind of rocked at any point, expect a spear, Cyrus. He comes at you with takedowns from all sorts of angles. He loves to capitalize when your stamina is incredibly low.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would kind of actually compare him to an Usman in the sense that he really did kind of bring that wrestle-heavy approach early on, but in his most recent performances, honestly, he's actually kind of switched that up a little bit and really has been implementing some of his striking into the fights. And as you can see right here, I mean, he's been very, very much holding his own on the feet and potentially even outlanding B3's Pablo Grips. It's close, I don't know, but potentially.
Well, looking at a stamina we can't tell these days, but we're looking at Pablo's, and that stamina isn't exactly high, especially if you're coming towards the end of the first round. You've got another four to go. You've got to make sure your stamina lasts here.
Nice work from there. And Pablo, looking at his record, he's got 3 finishes in the second round so far. Nice leg check there. Big sort of leg health event. I was about to say Pablo he's got 3 finishes in the second round, so that's kind of his most vital round going forward, Cyrus. He has got one in the third and the first as well, and all of his wins so far have been by finish. But that second round is really where he comes into his own. So it's going to be interesting to see how Dave deals with that, because Dave's more of a late sort of bloomer. He likes to take the fight in the deep waters.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and that's one of the things about the B3 boys, more generally speaking. Obviously, Pablo Grips quite clearly living up to that rep. They really do live or die by that sword. They're going to push the fight early, try and drag you into deep waters, not trying to utilize maybe the full rounds there, really trying to outdo you in that cage. And as you can see there, he's kind of forcing Dirty Dave into a bit of a dogfight right here. We can't see his stamina, as you mentioned there, Doc, but you've got to imagine he's going to be a little bit ahead in that department. Although some of this damage has got to be starting to add up through that block, and some of them landing fairly cleanly as well.
Quite possibly, but you have also got to remember that leg kick. I saw it earlier where Dave does it. You can see it again there. It's blinking, and that reduces your damage. That reduces the amount of power your punches do. So that's, I'll imagine, what's Dave's done. He knows that Pablo's going to blitz him, and now he's blitzing him back, putting him on the back foot, just trying to land anything he can. But Pablo's head movement there, Humble, managing to keep him in the fight.
Yeah, the leg kicks are really damaging, but he's got a good switch stance, TJ Dillashaw. I believe it's 99, but so if he needs to switch that stance, it depends on how Pablo fights from that stance, of course. But he does have that on his option, whereas Dave's using the leg kick to set up that head kick, and the lead head kick is been landing, and you got a rock from that Cyrus earlier on. But Pablo is not in this contest yet. He's fighting back. As I said, he drops to the floor, Cyrus, and it looks like trouble right now in the second round.
Yeah, he needed that switch of the stance. He has done it right now. That leg obviously needs to be protected. He's got a lot of time to work. He's looking pretty good outside of that leg kick, but the champ is quite clearly settling into his groove as he gets another rock dog, and he's trying to hunt that finish here in the second round.
He knows that his opponent's just going to move his head to the side, so he's trying to time hook, finally gets a knockdown, get him against the cage. This is where Dave wants him. He has got the knees to legs to do it, but instead, though, he goes to the drop down, getting that takedown into a very dominant side control position here.
It's been a brilliant round so far for Dirty Dave. He really is taking it to Pablo. It's something Pablo's not used to. As I've said, the second round, Pablo is usually on the front foot. And this one, Dave's really taking that one to heart, Cyrus, and he's really trying to put him away early in this one. I don't see the same thing that everyone talks about with Dave anymore. He's become really good at finishing, and I think that's from experience this season. His confidence has grown, especially being in the same camp as Trixie. That's got to help him out.
Oh my god, yeah, that left leg, absolute mincemeat, forces another switch. Head health, literally non-existent at the moment for Bellator either. I think maybe 2 more punches could sit him down. And that's going to be it.
And still, the primetime Xbox champion, Dirty Dave, retains his belt. He goes 1-0. First person to go 1-0 in this tournament. If he needs to win this one, Cyrus, if he needs to win the belt, he needs to go 4-0. Whoever wins this belt and starts the season goes 4.
Yeah, I mean, look, that is the performance that Dirty Dave was looking for coming into this Grand Prix. Going to build not only his confidence, if it needed any building, Doc, but, you know, going into the rest of the competition, just getting that first win out of the way has got to mean a lot. And, you know, obviously it's got to be a lot of pressure off now, just because you've got past that first kind of stepping stone of the gauntlet.
Yeah, you got past that first stage. Next up will be round 2, and that's a completely different kettle of fish that you've got to prepare for, because it's also in a different weight. Dave's performance over there was well developed. He showed all aspects of the game, even that bit of wrestling towards the end, and he made adjustments where he needed to. Humble.
I think we lost Humble for a second on his maybe having a bit of an issue with his microphone, but.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I was saying, well, to my muted microphone, that one thing that we didn't even talk about, but Dave gets to watch the rest of the pack now. He gets to watch everybody else compete, and he can kind of make notes. He knows most of these guys because he's probably fought most of them. But there's a few people in this tournament that could potentially, you know, Dave hasn't fought yet in a live competition. He can now get the option to sit back, watch everyone play, make a few notes, and come back later on refreshed.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't say it any better at all, brother. I mean, it's a nice perch to be sat on now, looking forward at the rest of this Grand Prix. And potentially, well, definitely his next opponent is in this next fight we're about to see, Doctor. It's going to be the one and only Vex Jamie Bucks up against another B3 faithful in B3 Leaks the Great. These guys, obviously, throughout this first round, all going to be in bantamweight. Unless I'm missing something, it doesn't look like Yan was banned again, brother. So this hashtag ban Yan doesn't seem to be strong in tonight's event.
Maybe not, but it should be noted, Lexi, as always, part of the B3 camp, so he is a very, very aggressive pressure striker. Jamie Bucks, on the other hand, is a man that will take it anywhere if needed. Acts a bit like Dave, just in the case of he'll shoot a takedown if needed, he'll strike if need to. One of his favourite picks, if I'm not mistaken, is an Aldo pick, so maybe we get to see that. But going off the scorecards here, Humble, it's 0-5 in the favour of Leaks.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Not in a live competition. I've seen 10-0 lose to the other guy. The bets are now open, just so you guys know. You have a minute left to put them bets on. These bets will be going all the way through tonight, and you just have to use your channel points. It doesn't cost anything to do it. It's a bit of fun in the chat. It lets you guys kind of join in. Do thank you for coming along to the prime time Grand Prix, Cyrus. Muddled up my words already. We do have number 3 versus number 14 at the moment. This is going to be a fantastic fight. Leaks was brilliant coming into this one. He has got fantastic combinations, but he's going against Jamie Bucks, coming off a high. He finished the season number 3, which is a high for him, and he got a fantastic head kick knockout off a beautiful combination in his last fight. It was absolutely fantastic. So be looking out for his head kicks. He's been really good at setting those up.
100%. Well, obviously with this fight in and of itself, here, Doctor, both guys, as you would expect in this Grand Prix, they're going to be incredibly well-rounded, but traditionally, at least, these guys have been known for throwing leather in the center of the cage, and you can see it already with their picks, with the way that they're fighting. Some beautiful movement and very, very active. Not much of a feeling out process in this one.
Yeah, it's very aggressive, and it's probably what you want to be doing if your Leaks here. Jamie, maybe not. Like, I'm just confused by the picks. I get that Cody, he has the power, he has all this, but he's a glass cannon, and as you can tell, if you're not careful, if you get caught in any sense of the manner, Yan will capitalise on it. He's also got a Force and H perk, which means as soon as your head health is lower than Yan gets a buff to that chin, and that causes massive issues when you've got a glass chin like Cody here.
Yeah, he's already ahead of the moment. He's starting to catch Leaks right now. Leaks is taking it on the chin, but he's got great power. Like you said, Jamie's on a high at the moment. Oh my God, he's coming forward. Leaks, what a fight! He catches him, and Leaks is going to go for the finish. He's trying to put punches ticket. This could be it. He survives.
Out, but now
What a start.
a reversal happen here. He does get it, and now this is where Cody's got to play really carefully. Could go for posture up, could go for back mount. Gets the posture up, now tries a couple of shots, makes sure to come back down, resets, and tries to take the back here, Lulu.
Honestly, that was some fireworks early in this fight, but as you mentioned, now Peter Yan finds himself on top. Jamie Bucks is going to try and slow this down, Humble. He's going to try and get some damage worked up on the ground, because that was not fun for him, and already the fight was maybe kind of just millimeters away from being taken away from him.
Oh, there was rocks, and there was obviously a big knockdown, and it nearly got finished right there. Good survival skills from Jamie. Someone put that he doesn't play the game that much. You've got to play the game that much to survive those ground and pounds, because like you always say, Cyrus, you've got to mind those P's and those Q's. Otherwise, you get caught, you zig when you zag, and Jamie did a good job of surviving that. We know Trixie's one of the best at that, but Jamie today showing his skills. It's a skill in itself to move your head in the correct direction.
Exactly right, man. I mean, look, they're high-intensity situations. You zig when you should zag, and you're going to get flatlined. But when you're able to survive it and then truly reset yourself like this, he's put Garbrandt in a horrendous position. He may have just got stood up, but there is no body health at all. Walking forward now, you know that's going to be a point of target, Doctor, or at least set up those headshots.
That's one of the things you've got to be really careful when you end up in sprawls, making sure your body doesn't get killed. Lovely front kick there, though. Not caring about the body kick going there. Straight does land, but doesn't get any type of knockdown. Both of these guys just sprawling and brawling. A head kick at the end. Well, when the block's overcommitted, and that is probably leaks his round only due to the knockdown there. But Jamie Bucks has shown that he can stay on the feet. He just needs to find the right opportunities to.
There's a lot of moving straight backwards and straight forwards from both of these guys. I know these guys are veterans and they're very savvy, but not a lot of lateral movement at the moment. You can see right now they're moving straight backwards and straight forwards, which is why those head kicks are kind of getting set up. If you're not moving left or right, it's hard to predict which way you're going to go. If you're moving backwards and you get someone pinned to the cage, Cyrus, it's quite easy to kind of set them up. But I've got to say, Jamie Bucks' timing on that front kick and the head kick earlier on has been impeccable so far. He just needs to watch out for Leaks' combinations.
Yeah, exactly right. Leaks' combinations are something else, my man, something else. Jamie Bucks being very, very defensively sound, other than those big connections early in that first round. Going into the second one, he is trying to have a little bit more ring awareness, trying to circle out to the center of the cage. Of course, Leaks trying to press him down, Doc, and as Humble was mentioning, walk him into something big, but it just seems like Jamie Bucks is on another level right now after that rock. It's like he got plus 20 on his striking.
Yeah, I think Jamie worked out that the jabs are the way to go, although throwing a body kick in the pocket is definitely going to get you caught like that. Leaks was throwing a lot of jabs to begin with. I think Jamie read that, started throwing jabs back himself, and now they're both trying to work out what to throw behind it, what to confuse your opponent. Because once you've got a jab established, you know your opponent's going to try and move the head, because I don't want to keep the head on the centre line. The issue is trying to work out, is it going to be a duck, or is it going to be a side step, and how do you match that shot?
Nice work. Beautiful. Catches him with an uppercut straight right there. And Jamie Bucks is on wobbly legs right there, scrambling across the cage. Both of these kind of meeting in the centre at the moment. I believe that's kind of the key. He's doing really well when he's going forward, Leaks. When he steps backwards, Jamie Bucks is trying to set him up. He's in and he's out. He's making him miss. When Leaks is pressing the action, it seems to be in his face a bit more. His connection seems to land a bit more, Cyrus.
Yeah, those B3 boys, man, when they've got your... when they've got you kind of on that back foot, when they've got you worried just like this, their killer instinct tends to take over. Great head movement from Jamie Bucks, though. Sits him down there.
An elbow out of nowhere, but the hook lands straight over. Leaks now jumping onto Jamie Bucks, quickly returning in favour of a knockdown. Looking like he's going to get a finish if he can, but Jamie Bucks only just staying alive by the skin of his teeth there. Jesus.
Phenomenal, bro. Absolutely phenomenal. Mr. Humble Dink. We say it each and every event, but the primetime guarantee is strong in this event right here. The Season 4 Grand Prix. Fireworks from the opening couple of moments to this very second. It doesn't look like they're slowing up anytime soon, but man, he's still hunting for the finish. And honestly, he may get it. He may get it, bro.
This could be it. Jamie Bucks is hanging on for dear life. This could be it, and this is it. It is over. Leaks the Great punches his ticket to the next round, going 1-0. I believe he's going to get a title shot against Dirty Dave.
Yeah, he's got a title shot against Dave next.
Craziness. craziness about the Grand Prix, Doc. It's crazy because you get a title shot after one fight. You can get a title shot in your first fight. It is mad.
It is absolute madness. That was a fantastic showcase by Luke's there. Bucks tried his damnedest to come back, but he just couldn't get going, and that was the way it happened to be. Getting that top man position after the knockdown, finding his shots where he could do, and that was all she wrote.
Beautiful, bro. Beautiful, honestly. The intensity from the opening bell, knew it was going to be a barn burner. Both guys should hold their heads high. I think they showed good accounts of themselves there, Mr. Holding. But nevertheless, brother, Cody Garbrandt's chin may have got checked, but it stood the test of time here this evening. He was able to battle some adversity, my man, get his hand raised, and like you mentioned, now has that opportunity at Primetime Gold in his next matchup.
Yeah, 100%. If he sees that, you know, you become a legend, you know. You're one of the guys, you win the Primetime Champion in your second fight, almost, and you're punching your ticket right there. I know some of the other guys on the other side of the bracket are going to be good because you get put in the same side as Dirty Dave, and you're guaranteed that title shot almost. So, if you keep winning. But that means we're going to move on to the next fight, and every fight this evening is going to be fantastic. But we have BFAP Jakey. You know, BFAP Jakey's been fantastic nearly every single season I've been here. Cyrus, he's competed every single time at a high level, fighting some of the best guys. I think it was 9 of the top 10 last season,
yep.
And he did really well with him. I think he went like an even record doing that, and it was brilliant. And this season he's managed to put himself right up there in the top 10, beating some of the best as always. And you can see there Cap a lot as well from the EK camp. He's going to be well versed. He's going to have a lot of skill. That EK camp has got a lot of good training partners, a lot of good sparring to go against.
Yeah, I mean, truly, both camps, you know, some of the more seasoned and long-lasting camps that you would see in the community. I know that BFAP, for example, have been competing with us. I think since we started, they've really, truly been around the block, and a lot of those guys have stayed together the entire way. Similar things can be said about the EK, EK side of the occasion there, Doc. Probably the most longest-lasting kind of camp in the community, and they've developed great fighters time and time again. And these two have stayed at the top of that for a very long time.
Well, BFAB at one point joined up with EK, so you got to imagine they both know each other's secrets as well. With that, though, Jakey being ranked 3 up against Capital, you got to imagine Jakey would be the betting favourite here. However, Capital already putting on his pace here, happily engaging in that pocket, using Aldo and his superb boxing as well as leg kicks, probably as you can see there.
Nice work. Good circling output from both these guys. Nice boxing from Rob Font. Aldo go for the takedown. And Capalot will do that, Cyrus. He will shoot for that takedown. We'll try and put him on his bum. Nice work right there, though. The elbow comes to Jakey B. Like, beautiful combination. Nearly gets it done early in this first round.
Yeah, Jakey B was traditionally a grappler, bro, but his striking has gone to another level. Capalotti, it's always been his realm as he gets a very clean duck. And the combo doctor, brother, that was nasty.
Digging down to that body with that level 5 body hook as well. It works so well, and you've got to imagine if you're Rob Font here, you've got to take a step back, get that jab, get that straight established, and really just control the fight.
Yeah, nice work, and it's been a fantastic contest already. You know, I can't believe it's the third fight already, Cyrus. It's going so fast. These guys are not messing about. They're really trying to punch the ticket and go forward into that next round. It's where the magic's going to happen. It's where the competition gets a bit stiffer, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're going to be ranked a bit higher as well. These are the guys. These 16 guys are the only people ranked so far in the season after this competition. So, you know, you want to get as high as you possibly can. If you don't get the belt, you still want to get as possible high as you can with the best record you can as well.
Yeah, brother, look, there's no easy fights in this thing. Each and every single one of these competitors could easily headline one of our cards on a normal weekend, but they now have to fight their way through the entire thing. There's pros and there's cons to it. They get to warm up. They get to really get to test themselves as well, Doctor, and I think that's what we're seeing kind of being displayed in front of us. They are letting loose in that octagon, making sure that they're giving a full account of their skills and trying all they can, every trick in the trade to get big rocks and finishes. Like that right there, brother. Like
Jakey did that at the start of the round. Capalot corrected himself brilliantly by using that head movement the first time around. Instead, though, he only did the head movement slightly, and that's what led to Jakey being able to catch him there, and that was fantastic.
Jakey B sends Capalot astro traveling across the cage with a beautifully timed head kick. You've seen the danger earlier on in the fight. He was setting up with some beautiful combinations. This time, he throws it stiff, Cyrus. just stands still and lets it rip. And that's a bit faster, it's a bit quicker, it's a bit harder at time. And Capello walked straight into it and essentially he Usman'd him.
Yeah, he did. Honestly, these fights between these competitors are they're something else, bro. They're absolutely something else. Just the way that they have been able to, kind of continually improve, Doc. I mentioned it momentarily at the beginning of the fight. Jakey B was traditionally a grappler, right? That's what we knew him for. And those advancements he has made to his game, the way that he has been able to add in those striking kind of repertoires, it's something else. He's truly kind of leveled up, and you can see it in those performances against other top flight opponents.
Yeah, he's leveled up massively, working with the likes of Spider mainly, from what I've heard, and Trixie, for example. You see both their sets of striking have really developed from a grappling basis into that type of striking here, Humble.
Yeah, definitely, and it's really good to see Jakey kind of utilize. I told you that 5-0 doesn't mean shit. Not in prime time. Not when you've 5-0 over a lifetime of UFC that's been out for 2 years. Is not a lot, because you could have played those 5 fights at the start of the season. It could have been disconnection from an esports competition. It could have been anything. And like I said, Capello was 5-0 in beforehand. Now he's 5-1. And the one that mattered was Jakey B punching his chicken to the next round. And he's going to be fighting the winner of our next fight, Cyrus, which I believe is going to be Dirty Boxing's Kai, which is actually Twinkle Toes. I hate when people change the name, Doc. And he's going to be fighting ICB Pug, who obviously is a charismatic individual amongst the community. Lives near myself, one of my good friends, and the Pug is always one of those characters. You've got to put him away. It's difficult to kind of get him out of there, and Kai's going to have to do that this evening. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Kai's most recent, sorry to cut you off there. Kai's most recent win was over Tadpole at the very last card of the season, coming out probably as the underdog and putting on a hell of a performance in a striking matchup. So you've got to remember that's on the cards. Looks at it though, Pug is also a very good striker who can take it down to the ground when needed.
Yeah, honestly, his jab, Humble, is something else. He really likes to work it. He's one of the guys that doesn't underappreciate that element of the game. And I think that can be a big deciding factor in many of his fights, right? It's whether or not his opponents are able to make adjustments to that, since it is such a kind of a honed skill of his. I feel like that's going to be the make or break here, whether or not Twinkle Toes is able to deal with that forward pressure, deal with that striking and the jab that is going to be put in his face.
Yeah, that's very interesting. He's Jose Aldo as well, obviously. RIP Jose Aldo's career after he retired this week, and it's a fantastic career spanning. Never dropped out of the top 10, by the way. Just an interesting fact. In the entire career that he was there in the UFC, never left the top 10 in the UFC. That's incredible, in my opinion, in any division he was in. So ICB the Pugs, for me, he's going to have them kicks. He's going to have a lot of different variety. He's also going to have a bit of wrestling as well. I like the jiu-jitsu of Aldo. He got a bit of a boost from beating Marlon Barrera, and I think the Pug could really utilise and use that. But Twinkle Toes is on him, and he's got some good wins recently, Doctor. He got one over Tadpole recently, if you remember correctly, and there was some over Capello as well he beat. So, he's got some good wins recently over top competition. That's why he's here today.
Yeah, well, we saw Capital last time round against Jake. He had some success on the feet, so you got to imagine that striking class is there. These two so far staying on the feet. Cody looking to put on the pressure, but Aldo meeting the back with the jab, as you mentioned, being very stiff, very stagnant, always there in Kai's face here, Looney.
Yeah, he's trying to work on it. There's a lot of pops,
nice
head movement from Cody Garbrandt that's been paying dividends so far. I think some good combinations out of him as well, but we know how hard Aldo hits.
Nice. Oh, beautiful.
Lovely, bro. Lovely denial.
Uses the momentum of his opponent to get a nice little sweep of the leg right there. Had the inside thigh, the hook on the inside thigh, which he uses to elevate him over the top. Beautiful work. But he doesn't manage to get on top of himself. ICB the Pug is doing a great job controlling the fight so far. A really nice takedown. Needs to really watch out for Twinkle Toes, because Twinkle Toes is trying to make him miss and capitalise on that stamina and maybe a big rock like that, Doc.
Yeah, it seems like Twinkle Toes is going forward. He's not throwing anything. He's being pressured without actually throwing anything, which works brilliantly, although it does seem to go in quite chaotic here. The issue with Cody is that chin is a bit glass, as well as the block itself. If you just keep taking the shots off, you can have some issues. But the benefit of just standing there and letting your opponent throw is it means you can really start going to town like that on the good engagement. And that is what you want.
Yeah, he's really walking his opponent down, but he's kind of almost trying to do the Yo Ramiro treatment out there, Humble, and letting his opponent throw first, getting them a little gassed, and then returning with some hellish combinations, paying dividends as long as that block holds up.
He needs to be careful though. He's through 2 or 3 high vulnerability moves. His opponent could time one of those, especially it's been the jumping flying knee for him at the moment. And ICB the Pug's no slouch, he'll sidestep one of those and catch you with a nice clean lead hook. You've got to be careful of that coming. That you've just got to keep doing what he's doing, but then vulnerability moves, time them really well. He's got to be patient to do those.
I'm pretty sure in the last Xbox Grand Prix Pug was in, he slipped hooked Caliber as he did a flying knee just in the final seconds of the third round. So you got to imagine that's going to be playing in the back of Pug's mind if you can. But there he goes, jab straight, the leg kick to suit just as you move your opponent's head. It works fantastically. But so far, Aldo's gas tank is looking kind of sketchy as this continues into the second tier.
I feel like Humble that they both have fairly awkward styles, a little bit different to what they would normally what you would normally come across, I suppose. And it's making them a little bit hesitant in certain situations. I feel like as they warm up into this fight now and they start to find their feet a little bit more, these connections may start coming because they're doing a lot of head movement while throwing. And he gets right there, which isn't great for Cody with that chin.
Beautiful rock right there, drops into the floor, and Twinkle Toes is on skates. Nice work from Pug, but you are completely correct. They do have awkward styles. I've spotted the Pug recently on PlayStation, and it's very similar to myself. Very different. Uppercut coming through right there. Pug is starting to put it on the pressure. Nice work. Aldo is really going for it. Drops into the floor, and that head health is not going to help him with his ground and pound, but great work from Twinkle Toes to stay alive right there. Cyrus, he's managed to stay in the fight.
Yeah, his instincts did him well. He's able to get the separation very, very quickly, of course. As we mentioned, but prior to this fight, we know how good Pug is on the ground, but he's getting it done on the feet, Doc. Rocks him and sits him down once again.
Yeah, he's having a fantastic job here. It seems like Kai is providing an uphill battle, and as I say, he gets dropped again, blowing with the ground and pound system. Nice. Lovely couple of defenses, rolls over. Could threaten submission or a top mount. Now this is times where all it changed. You've got a lot of cardio, you've got a lot of stamina that you can burn and just rain down shots here to try to do damage.
3 minutes as well of work. Nice work. He picks his shots nicely, but does get taken back to his guards. And ICB the Pug's got to be careful. He does have a stamina disadvantage. It's a slight disadvantage, Cyrus, but that can pay a dividend. Shut my mouth.
It can do, but especially on the ground, because it's relatively close, that GA is going to come into more of an effect, and I feel like Pug is going to be more experienced in trying to kind of capitalize on those sorts of things, Doc, and he finds himself in Crucifix now. He's settling in very nicely, and this is horrendous for Cody Garbrandt that's about to potentially be finished.
Trying to block the strike, he does so, but one sneaks through, getting the finish there. Fantastic job by Pug. The first round looked kind of sketchy with Kai just putting on that pressure non-stop. He was always there in the face, waiting and timing his shots well. But then into that second round, that chin was just gone, that block was gone, and that really allowed Aldo to exemplify all these shots and then look towards the ground to then finish it off.
Yeah, nice work. It was a good fight overall round, but the selection, the pick, I think Aldo was Jan was banned in this one. If you're wondering, guys, why didn't he pick Jan? People ban Jan. It's very smart. The first couple of fights we didn't see it, but I know it's been banned in pretty much all of the rest of the fights. That Jan pick is one of the most meta picks. So Aldo and Cody Guaya, and the Cody chin, we always say don't go full Cody, and that one he went full Cody, and he ends up paying for it.
Well, guys, that is the first side of the bracket done, the left-hand side of the bracket. As you can see, BFAP Dirty Dave will be matching up against B3 Leaks. BFAP Jakey up against ICB the Pug. And of course, now we move across to this right-hand side of the bracket, see who will be standing on the other side of the kind of warfield with them there, Doc. We're going to be having up next one of the former champions, heralded as maybe the pound-for-pound GOAT of primetime history. That is BFAP Trixie up against Demo TT, also known as Dino. I think this fight is incredibly interesting. Dino's got some really, really good grappling, and he's going to really have to work with that, I think, against somebody like Trixie, who is very comfortable everywhere.
Yeah, Trixie is very comfortable everywhere. There's a reason he was one of the longest reigning champs in prime time until Dave did beat him at the very last card. So you've got to imagine Trixie's hunting to get to that final position to hopefully fight the ever mighty Dave. Dino, on the other hand, he is a wrestler through and through. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to say. What? Dino is a wrestler through and through. He has been working his striking. He's mainly been on the PS side, but he did build a very good record within the Xbox division to the point where he was highly ranked among it. And now he's fighting Trixie at bantamweight. But it looks like we're going to have a Cejudo versus a Rob Font here tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. These two, they'll have some history of playing each other. That's probably why the records are off, Cyrus. Notice the records right there. If you're wondering about the ping, though, the heart of New Zealand is Dino TT. He is a New Zealand native, and obviously the ping is going to be high, but it's usually relatively stable, and hopefully these two can have a fantastic fight with no interruptions, essentially. We've seen worse, put it that way. And it's going to be interesting. He's picked a grappler in the sense of Henry Cejudo, a guy who's already won both of those belts at flyweight and the bantamweight belt, against Rob Font, currently being declined. He's been put down a few stats as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Henry Cejudo's chin holds up, and the boxing as well with the wrestling against Trixie, because Trixie's a veteran. He's very savvy, and that boxing for Trixie's going to be difficult to get past.
Yeah, no, it really will be, man. He is about as seasoned as they get. He's seen every look that is possible to be given at this stage, and continues to make advancements in this late stage. A big missed head kick from not Dino Gamer, which he can't be allowing those, Doctor. Trix will capitalize on that. Cannot get.
Yeah, Trix is well developed. He'll find any counter windows he can. As you can see, he's finding a hole through the block already, just digging in, looking for the uppercuts. Font slick, a long striking. He's really position here, and he does it already. Trixie looking like the goat he is, and now Dino shooting that takedown, trying to get it down, try and mix it all up, but back on the feet.
Yeah, 100%. Chat, constantly, I always like to address chat. People asking now, you get in this tournament, I should be in this tournament, blah, blah. Well, you're given the opportunity to get in this tournament by competing in prime time. For 7 months, these guys have competed, and the top 20, top 25 of these guys that have ended up in the rankings. That's how you get your spot. It's not based on rank, it's not based on merit, it's not based on what you did in other organisations. It is based on this sort of combination in your performance in PT, just like Trixie's doing right.
Trixie was not happy with that stun. He wanted instant payback there.
Yeah, he blood for blood, brother. Eye for an eye. He got stung his opponent right back. I mean, the combination's absolutely flying at this stage. Another takedown attempt, but it's defended relatively easy here, Humble, as we see Swift Trixie once again trying to press the action with his combinations.
Nice work. He didn't have the stamina to do any damage, but he did get that reversal right there. But so Dino doing a great job of kind of taking him to the cage at that point and making sure his stamina was low when he did go for that takedown. But it's been crazy so far. They've had rocks, and Trixie's been ahead, I believe, and the damage is starting to come through. Dino's going to have to try to get it on the floor somehow, or do something different, essentially. Cyrus, he can't continue doing this.
No, exactly right. He needs something to go his way. He is landing damage, but he's just kind of slightly being beat to the punch with virtually everything that's going on at the moment there, Doc. He is not out of the fight yet, brother. We're still only at the 4-minute mark of the first round. Obviously a minute left to go, that is, but definitely adjustments need to be made. Needs to center himself in between these rounds and try to make the adjustments necessary, which is easier said than done, brother. I mean, I don't even know what adjustments to be made against somebody like Trixie who's performing like this.
Oh, beautiful work. Trixie's going forward.
In the pocket.
I know he's going to get it, bro. Maybe he won't get the opportunity.
Elbow. That was a perfect read on Yoshigari Trip, giving that elbow there. Does get the uppercut pullback there, but sadly no stun. Cejudo's head health is low. Are you talking about adjustments? It's the case of Dino's going to probably try and make some adjustments coming to the second round. However, so is Trixie. Trixie's going to realise, okay, these things went wrong in this part of the fight, this part and this part, and so he's going to make those adjustments more on the fly as well, and I think that's going to be the biggest uphill battle for Dino here, just to figure out what adjustments need to make here.
Yeah, definitely. And like you just said there, Trixie's the adjustment king. He's really good at making adjustments. And the one thing about Trixie that he reminds me of, it's and some people might not watch the sports, but I like to compare him to like a football team like Man City that controls most of the possession and then wins the game. He's that type of fighter that controls most of the fight. He controls the little parts of the fight, Cyrus, and those little parts add up to a big part when he rocks you, because he's already got you hurt, he's already got you stunned, he's already got your head off.
Yeah, honestly, man, he fights about as if I was to say to any fighter, like a young kid who's trying to replicate somebody's style, I would say somebody like Swift Trixie, because he is so sound defensively and so aggressive in the way that he approaches it. He does take risks. I have to say, Dino Gamer trying to land some good shots right here, but statistically, Doc, I don't have hard figures, but I think it's like a 70% second round finish rate for Swift Trixie, and he may be getting another one added to that record right here.
Yeah, it really is, and I think that's more attributed to his ability to adjust, as Aldous was saying earlier, is Trixie's abilities to read your opponent in the first and then adjust in the second, but Dino adjusting just enough to get down that takedown, and now he can look to get better opportunities. You have got to remember, Trixie is a grappler at heart, so he knows also what your aggressive opponent's going to look for, so he's got a good idea of the defense he needs to do. Say that low top mount is given, and raining down some strikes here.
He tried to even it out, obviously. Dino Gamer is doing a good job of staying on top. Trixie's going to try to utilise that, but Dino Gamer moves back to half guard and now moves into side saddle. This is where it's got to be difficult. This is where Dino Gamer's got to make it count. He's been getting beat for the last 8 minutes of this fight. He needs to change that around. He's got about 7 minutes left, Cyrus. If he can change the course of this fight and make Trixie worry about his ground game, do some damage here, he can obviously start to change the course on the feet as well, and maybe, get the win.
Yeah, exactly right. This is the biggest opportunity he has had in this fight. He has managed to get his opponent down to the ground, and although Trixie is, of course, seasoned in these positions, he is still, quite obviously not going to want to be under somebody like Dino Gamer. He has got submissions on his resume, and he may be looking to get one again. Although this may be the biggest feather in his cap if he's able to get it. Swift Trixie really does, it's defensively sound in those types of things, Doctor. I don't think he's actually been submitted yet in his career.
As you say, he's never been submitted in his career. There is an attempt happening. The blue is going up pretty fast, and Dino does ditch on it pretty early, but he has got his back taken. Got 40 seconds left in this round. You can maybe try a sub attempt about now, but I think past the 30-second mark, it's very unlikely to get one. That being said, though, we go back up onto their feet. Dino still holding back, tries to lift him up, doesn't manage it, and now Trixie gets to do payback for the first 20 seconds or so.
Did you check his stats mid-fight?
He did, just for a second. But the thing is, the interesting thing there is this RNC. Oh, nice shots being landed on Rob Bond.
Oh!
Very nice shots at the end of that round there, Humble.
It is, but the rock, the study, the total strikes all in Trixie's favour. You got to think it might be 2-0, but the momentum is definitely in Cejudo's way. For how long? We will find out. But for Dino Gamer, it's definitely confidence so far if he can start off way left.
Brother! That health deficit, don't! God damn! He said not for long, Humble. For how long? He said 15 seconds came out of those gates quickly and got the job done.
Does not mess about. He does not mess about, Trixie. He is here to do a job, and that's exactly what he does. Start of the third round, just comes out, whatever you. It's almost like he was pissed off, Doctor, with the initial last 2 minutes.
He wanted his finish rate in the second. He wanted to add to that result, and Dino didn't, taking it into the third, and Dino just zigging when he should have zagged, being met with a straight to the face, and Dino and Trixie capitalising on all the way.
I got a question. So obviously I was here for the last season. I've only joined Primetime the last year, and the season I was in, I believe Trixie won the main event as well in the Grand Prix. If I'm completely correct, Doctor, last season Trixie won, so he came out the champion. The season before, was that Fadinator or Trixie who won that?
I'm trying to remember which season Grand Prix we had where Keza had the massive. I think it was the season Grand
before.
Prix just before the one you joined, where Fadinator became champ. But that was purely because I feel like Keza came out and murdered Trixie with a front kick, and nobody was expecting it.
Yeah, it happens,
and it's always just continued to go on since then. I think Keza and Trixie have always had a bit of rivalry over it somewhat.
Yeah. So my point being that Trixie wants to come back to back Grand Prix champions. He won it last season, and he went into the season with a great run as well before he got beat by Fadinator. That historic undefeated streak against Fadinator, the second best. Trixie was the best for a long time, Cyrus, and he's going to want to win it again, and Dirty Dave seems to be his new competition, even though they're in the same team. Those two are neck and neck going forward at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, iron sharpens iron, and they have truly, truly become, well, killers in that cage if they weren't already. Performance after performance, they have separated themselves from the rest, and that is what each and every single one of these competitors continue to try and do here this evening to separate themselves from that pact and, of course, get one step closer to that primetime gold. Talking of which, we now have two other teammates from the EK camp, as we mentioned, a very established camp within the community, looking to duke it out here this evening there, Doctor. It is going to be EK Clover up against EK Mix-Ups. Both recent kind of move-ups, I believe they were in the S&B camp, now in the EK side of things, and they've been having some really, really good performances across the community, and they now find themselves in a very, very interesting spot here on tonight's card.
Yeah, so EK Clover, predominantly more of a striker, EK Mix-Up, predominantly more of a grappler. However, they're both in the same camp, so maybe they did agree to strike. Although, with the picks being given here, we've got Cejudo and we've got Marlin Vera, one of the two pronunciations. So these two are going to be a fun fight overall here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Marlon Vera's got great stats overall. He doesn't have the great wrestling, but he also doesn't have a great chin as well. One thing that I always talk about, Cyrus, I do the stats and also certain content for this, so I kind of know when fighters come into the UFC or UFC 4, they usually give them a 4 base rate until they start winning fights. And Marlon Vera's a recent add-on, so his stats aren't going to be accurate to what they currently are, whereas Cejudo's a household name, and he's won. Yeah, last time he left the octagon, he won essentially.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I have liked. I've come back, played a couple of games. Tito is very, very nice to play. You kind of emphasis on the on being defensively sound with him, making kind of tactical choices over the course of the fight, and if he's able to do that on the feet, stuff those takedowns, he's on to a winner right here, because you know that Cejudo is generally going to be the more active player, because they're going to feel confident in their abilities, their movesets, their doctor, and of course that cardio, which is almost endless with that guy.
You say that, but he's also really small, and so as someone who's used to Cejudo quite a bit, you're kind of forced to be active, because if you don't be active when you're the smaller fighter, you can never work out how to get into the pocket, because if you're not there playing against them always, and they start trying to establish the strikes like the jab and the body kick like Marlon Vera is doing, and that makes it really difficult to get on the inside of the pocket, because a lot of the time, as Cejudo as well, you're looking for that takedown. And so if you can't get inside the pocket here, Humble, you can't get that takedown.
Yeah, exactly. What you mean is that they've got to throw 2 or 3 extra shots to close the distance, essentially, to get in the pocket. And that's exactly what Cejudo's got to do. That's why he's got to be so busy. Whereas Marlon Vera packs a bit more power. He packs a good kick. Packs good, good stamina, and there's something we see in his fights as well. He got outstruck 2-1 by Rob Font, but it was clearly obvious he smashed him in that fight. He absolutely obliterated him. But Rob Font outstruck him 2-1. But those shots from Marlon Vera were way more damaging. Similar to the Frankie Edgar fight as well, where he puts him out in that one. Frankie Edgar was out striking him, and Aldo as well. Very similar. He's a more of a boxer type fighter, Cyrus. He likes to take his time, and when he lands, he wants to really make it count.
Yeah, I think both guys definitely got power in this one, right? But Cheeto is a bit more of a menacing striker. He's got a little bit of a mean streak in him, and often lands some beautiful elbows and kind of crushing strikes to cut his opponents up. This is kind of what Mix-Ups is going to need. He's traditionally, as his name would suggest, mixed it up very, very well, and utilizing some of those clinches and takedowns may be able to put his teammate off their game and not allow them to fully settle into that striking and establish that range you were talking about a little bit earlier on.
Yeah, he's doing very well here. He's also making sure to establish a jab. But to speak on Clove's behalf here, you're seeing that fake takedown quite a bit to enter in the pocket and then coming up with straight up top. He's making his opponent block Clove. He thinks he's going to go for a takedown and then trying to clip him up top. Those straights have been working lovely. And now we see a lovely takedown going into side control here.
Nice work. And Clover got this a short notice, obviously, call up. He's one of the guys who got a ticket, he got it in the post recently, Cyrus, and he'd be a little absolutely over the moon to kind of punch his ticket, but he's fighting against Mix-Up, one of his teammates. These guys are going to know each other in and out, and there's clearly something that he's seen, because he's decided to take Henry Cejudo down onto the floor, and now he's in a dominant position. He's going to work. There's 25 seconds of the clock left. A very, very close round.
Yeah, I mean, look, he is quite clearly backing himself 100%. As you mentioned, he got the call up within an hour or two of this event, and staying active, staying ready is the name of the game, especially for somebody like Clover in that position. He was just outside the top 20. I think he's level, was ranked maybe 22, 23, something in that neighborhood, but was the top ranked opponent that was available at this time, stepped in, and this is a big opportunity for him, Doc. It really, really is. He gets through this first round, he gets his name out there. I think this may be his second live event for us, so he's doing really good.
Yeah, he is doing really well, and he's looked fantastic going against one of the top rated. I think he's like ranked 5 or so mix-ups is, and he's having a steady pace and just looking to find his shots here. As you can see, that jab, that straight, all getting established, as we talked about for the last round or so, and now he's mixing the teeps as well. But again, mix-ups is coming back, using that jab, using that straight to really do it. Also blocking that body kick, which has done really well for him so far.
Nice head kick at the end of that there. Good distance control. I love people that utilise the head kick as your opponent's moving away just from the punching range, the boxing range. That's the perfect time to kind of land that. You can't land it when you're coming forward because they'll smother you. You can't land it as it's just too far away because you're overextending. Perfect time to land it at the end of his combination from the inside of the pocket outside. But this is a war so far. Both of these guys are clearly well versed with each other. It's a very even fight. According to paper, not Cyrus, but according to this game, absolutely.
Yeah, they've been fighting very much in a phone booth for the majority of this one, but another nice takedown from Mix-Ups, doing what his name would suggest, putting Clover in a defensive position now, and he's got a lot of time to work in this round, Doc. We've seen Mix-Up maul opponents in these positions in the past, and as he advances position, his confidence only going to continue to grow.
Yeah, and that's what you've got to be careful with mix-ups. If he gets more confident on the ground, that means you're going to have a lesser and less opportunity to do it. Does get us a full guard, and that's what you want to be seeing. If you're Marlon here, you want to be faking, you want to be wielding that GA, getting those denies like so, and trying to get up, but you've got to make sure it's not too obvious, because otherwise mix-up will get a deny of his own, posture up, and then go into half guard like he's just done there, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. This is where he wants to be. He is Henry Cejudo, Olympic champion. He is a two-time UFC champion winner. You know, he wants to be on top of you. He wants to be controlling you. The only man to essentially beat Demetrius while he was on top as well in the same division. Dominic beat him in a different division. But Henry Cejudo beat him while he was that flyweight champion at the King of the Worlds. And this is where you want to be, on top of someone. You've got all of the wrestling transitions, that 5-star wrestling. You've got all the ground and pound, and now some denials as well. So it's going to be dangerous right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, some people underestimate what Henry Cejudo is capable of, due to the whole kind of cringe factor. That routine kind of disarms people. Yeah, his size, the kind of the king of cringe sort of routine, it really disarms people, and I think that actually plays to his advantage. He continues to surprise his opponents and show them that he's got that kind of next gear that maybe a lot of people wouldn't expect from the way that he talks and the way that he maybe his stature.
Nice work going in the body again, trying to build that GA Doctor, trying to get the reversal, but beautiful reversal from Clover, and now he's going to be on top for the last 35 seconds. We need to rack up some damage. It's been a very close round again. It's difficult to score this fight. I think it might be 1-1, I don't know. It's very difficult to kind of judge this one.
Yeah, if Clover probably wants to win this round, he's going to need to do something quick and easy, but the issue is mix-ups keep getting those denies, and now as we do closing into the round, a couple of straights there. Lovely job towards the end. The stats are really going to say who won this. I don't know. I genuinely do not. That is... It comes down to the third and final round, I feel like, here, Humble.
Yeah,
I feel like...
It's the judgment, I think, on this game. We've done tests. I've done tests. Trust me. There's people that have done tests. And I said it in prime time when I first came in, and then it came true time and time again, Cyrus. The third round is the most important in any UFC 4 competition, because those judges will swing a fight that you've been dominating in favour of the other person if they get a rock or stun, if they come out and dominate in that third round. It just happens time and time again. It's too frequent to be a coincidence.
Yeah, for sure. And these guys really ended up. Not that they were fighting slow before, but you can tell that extra kind of effort is being taken to try to set up that killer blow. Nice little low kick there, Doc, from Clover. He's really trying to mix it up and get his opponent to drop that hand, but Cejudo seems to be wise to it so far.
Yeah, well, Cejudo's following suit, following the leg kicks, both of them exchanging leg kicks. I think Clover now knows that if it gets down to the ground, he's not getting back up, and so he needs to win on the feet. If he wins on the feet, he can then neutralise mix-ups on the ground, and you'll chill. And you can chill out and you can just ride to a decision. But if you allow him to get this takedown now, This comes the issue, because Mix-Ups is really good at sticking to you and staying on top. You saw how difficult it was for him to get the reversal. He only managed to get the reversal in the final 30 seconds. And did he do enough to win on the feet? If he does, no damage now on the ground. I wouldn't say so. But Mix-Ups is doing to disengage. Interesting. Completely ruins my point.
I love it when teammates are a bit, like, you know, a bit. Oh, it might cause some overzealous, and you know, Clover's coming for it now, and Mix-Ups is really trying to put it on him. He's got that rock in this round, and now he's backing up, trying to press his opponent into kind of a shot, or guide his opponent into a shot, I guess, to make it more powerful. And that's exactly what he does, Cyrus.
Beautiful shot selection once again from Mix-Ups. Couple of knees from the clinch, and he has maybe one or two combinations away from finishing this fight and taking the judges out of it, Doc, once and for all.
He's looking for some shots and a half here. Cejudo is up probably on the judges' scorecards 2-1 now, you have to assume. But as we do this, we see Clover pushing on the action. He knows he's
what timing! Oh, the disrespect. No such thing as teammates when a pelt's involved. Beautiful work from Mix-Ups. He is going to be fighting Trixie next. He needs to prove his point, and that's exactly what he did in this fight. Trixie, I've just got note from the back, is in his dressing room watching that on the big screen. Cyrus looking up, and he's going to be fighting Mix-Ups next. And Mix-Ups, you know, a lot of respect right there, but he needed to do that. He needed to prove that he's ready for Trixie in the next fight. You know, he's fighting a teammate that's low ranked down in the division. He's the higher ranked fighter. He's the more experienced fighter, and he needs to come out and prove that in that third round and put him away.
Start as you mean to go on, my man. Start as you mean to go on. And he's shown that he is here and he means business this evening. He is out for blood, Doctor, and he is willing to kill you in there quite clearly. I mean, look, that was his own teammate and he threw every sort of level of respect out the window. And honestly, it was for our viewing pleasure, brother. I mean, just absolutely sensational performance. And I, for one, I'm excited to see what happens in that next matchup up against Trixie.
I would also agree. That's a matchup that is definitely to be waited for. Trixie has previously lost to Mix-Ups, so it's entirely possible Trixie may go out in that second round there. So it's going to be an intense and very good fight overall.
Well,
Definitely.
Humble, brother. This actually sets us up beautifully for the next fight. Of course, it is going to be between BFAP's very own Slick and KM Intro, the first Kingsman of this evening. I mean, both guys have been around the scene for a very long time now. They have kind of contrasting styles, but they always are hunting for that finish, my man.
The only KM guy of this evening, if I'm correct as well. You know, there's EK Naz and SB Donna next, but he is representing the KM. It's very rare, isn't it, Cyrus, that we get in the top 16 of these guys. It's usually KM, EK, and all those guys, BFAT, but there's a lot of usually representation, but Intro is representing the KM on his sleeve tonight against Slick. And these two have been fantastic throughout the season. Slick has got some brilliant wins this season. He's had some devastating combinations and devastating finishes. It's the same for Intro as well. Intro, for me, has been one of the best competitors to watch this season. I believe he finished his record with 5-2 last season, so 7 fights, won the majority of them, and the ones he lost were against champions or former champions. So he'll be looking to kind of wipe that record wrong, and we've seen it last season. We've seen it with Dirty Dave. We've seen it with other people. They've stepped up to the plate. You know, Fadnate stepped up against Trixie. It takes a little adjustment. It takes a little bit of a change in the mindset to become that champion and become consistent, and that's what they're going to be looking to do. Fresh start.
Exactly right, Brick. Exactly right. No time like the present, and this is their first step in that journey, if you will. Corey Sandhagen in the side of the red corner. That is BFAP Slick, going a unique pick as always, Doc. But he is up against Intro with those sensational combos that we mentioned. And who better than Rob Font to do them with?
Yeah, Rob Font has some fantastic striking, and we did like to see Intro even using him. You got to imagine he's going to be able to fully use all that length. Slick picking Sandhagen isn't the normal pick you see. Slick's a grappler through and through, but just like Jakey, he's turned more towards his striking style, more towards that kickboxing heavy. I'm going to slowly piece you together and work you down as the fight goes on here, Humble.
Yeah, he's like a long Dominic Cruz, isn't he, with like 5-star flying knees and things like that. He's got some bit more power as well. For Sandhagen's an underrated sort of striker in that division, and a fantastic win recently as well against Song Yidong, who's 25-year-old. I still can't believe that. But Sandhagen, He did well against Peter Yan, and he's doing well right now against Intro. He's a good pick for me, Cyrus. You know, he keeps getting better, he keeps getting upgraded, and as he does, he's a unique character because not a lot of people pick him, not a lot of people know how to defend against him.
Yeah, exactly right. And honestly, Slick Colt is a very unorthodox player. He is about as seasoned and as, you know, kind of veteran savvy as they come, Doc. But he often goes these unorthodox picks, and he, he learns them intricately. And as a result, he's able to really work some kind of angles and give you some looks that are hard to replicate when you're fighting the wider community.
Yeah, and I think that's what gives Slick such a good edge, is that even he's using a striker, but he's grappling with it. You're using Corey Sandhagen, although he may have some decent wrestling stats, he's still offering this entirely different aspect to what you're usually used to seeing with a Sandhagen player. Is he's grappling happily, he's looking to take you down, he's looking to find opportunities when and where he can here.
Yeah, definitely. Corey Sandhagen's got some submission wins as well, so he's not got bad jiu-jitsu stats, whereas Rob Font is predominantly a boxer, predominantly a kickboxer. If he add his MMA kind of tools, assets to that, he's very good at keeping it off the ground, but, you know, he's very good at using his fists and his feet. But when it comes to the grappling, I think Corey's kind of got the edge in this one as well, so it's a clever tactic for Slick to give him the option. We talk about it a lot, Cyrus. It's another tool to set up your hands.
Yeah, 100%. Lovely flying knee right there. I was going to say that Intro was starting to get the cleaner of the shots being landed. Some damage was starting to mount up, but Slick Colt using that unorthodox style to continue to change the angles and looks that he's giving his opponent, Doc. And once again, he's able to land something that you wouldn't expect. Came out of nowhere, bro.
Yeah, and that's what you want to be doing if you're either one of these guys. You want to be convincing your opponent you're going to be trying one thing, and then instead you throw another. Moving off sideways switch kick is kind of unexpected, as well as those hooks engaging. Now another takedown, nice. And to finish off the round, it looks like Slick is just want to keep him here, throw a couple of elbows, and really work his opponent down if he can here, Humble.
If you're looking at our damage right now, it's definitely in the favour of Slick, and I feel like Intro has had a slow start to this one, Cyrus. I think you might agree. He's not really got his time in his offense. The defense mainly to deal with his combination. But saying that, I look at the stats and I might be completely wrong.
No, you are just about right. I think Slick Colt was just about edging ahead. He was giving Intro a lot of problems. I think Intro isn't a guy that normally is letting loose a little bit more than he is here this evening. But I feel like that is all due to the unorthodox approach of Slick Colt and the way that he's giving kind of high variance to the looks that he's, putting out there, Doc, once again, just setting things up a little bit differently and allowing him to get some shots off that ordinarily, kind of Intro would be able to block or evade.
Yeah, I think that is at least a thought process. You have got to imagine that you've got members like Adjust, you've got members like a Skitch, so Intro's probably doing better than most people in terms of trying to read his opponent, but he still isn't expecting the shots back-to-back here, although Slick, again, he's mixing with these takedowns as well, so he's doing a really good job at getting that striking and the takedown mixing in, and it's just causing havoc for Intro's overall defense here.
Yeah, definitely. And just a quick one about Corey Sandhagen's ground stuff as well. When it does go to the ground, Corey Sandhagen's his finishes in real life, he's got more finishes by either ground and pound or submission than he does on the feet. So he's very good at hurting his opponent on the feet or making them scramble and then getting them to the floor and hurting them that way. So very interesting to see if Slick kind of does that as Intro starts to use double lunging jabs apparently, as we see a little bit of a replay right there. Thank you for that. He takes him to the fence. And we're really seeing Sandhagen utilise the full aspect of mixed martial arts in this one.
Yeah, he is obviously taking kind of lessons from the most recent performance of Sandhagen, and he is he's doing really, really well. I think this is the next level of Slick Colt, where he has become very comfortable in his striking now. Still, of course, does not shy away from those grappling exchanges either, Doc. And as we have seen over the course of this fight so far, it becomes incredibly hard for your opponent to be able to not only stop and disarm you, but then to be able to mount any sort of meaningful offense to turn it around. Although that is fantastic from Intro. With a lot of time left, he gets the reversal.
Yeah, he has done a fantastic job overall, making sure to read his opponents, and Intro getting the reversal at the end. You have got a minute 30. That's a long time to work. However, Slick is an incredibly difficult guy to grapple, to the point where he manages to get the reversal and then denied to follow suit. That is just Slick's capabilities there.
Yeah, definitely. And a bit of information, a backstory about these two as well this season is Slick is actually ranked number 5 in the division at 6-3. And you've got Intro ranked number 12 of 5-2, and the reason that is because Slick has been getting more finishes. Cyrus, obviously, the way our league is structured, it's based around you get more points for finishes, especially in the first and second round. So Slick is more used to kind of getting people out of there, whereas Intro sometimes win the decision, sometimes win it later on in the fight, essentially. And Slick is really showing his veteran savvy in this one. He's really showing that he is a ranked fighter for a reason, and it's really difficult for Intro to get into this one.
Yeah, for sure, man. Obviously, Intro is a veteran. He's doing a good job of mitigating a lot of damage, and I feel like given the later ends of the fight, he is going to try and explode for that finish, Doc. But so far, Slick has just been able to keep himself that step ahead, and there's not a lot of time. That time is starting to dwindle away. 5 minutes can be a very long time or a very short time in this game.
Yeah, and I think for Slick it's going to be a short time, for Intro it's going to be a long time, and I think Intro really needs to figure out all the holes he can to try to get back. He's had a very difficult 2 rounds. He's had Slick all over the place on him, punching him in the face, as well as grappling exchanges, and I think that's what Intro needs to do. He needs just to recenter himself, try to make the adjustments, put on the pressure if he can, and just go a Hail Mary approach here.
Yeah, he's using a nice jab as well now. He's changed his game plan to like a long sort of style, and every time I love this plan. Every time Rob Font tries to get into the pocket to utilize his boxing combinations, he either smothers him with a clinch, he tries to get in his face, or he keeps him away, or uses some sort of kick to kind of offset his balance, and he's straight back out. Cyrus, his movement in this fight, Slick, has been absolutely second to none. Very difficult to get hold of him in this one, and he's done everything to capitalize on Rob Font's offenses as weaknesses.
Yeah, honestly, he's pitching a perfect game right here. The approach definitely working, definitely disarming Intro, and almost had him a little bit gun shy on the feet because he was worried about this dog. He was worried about getting taken down again. Intro still actually basically full stamina, so if he does manage to make it to the feet, especially with such little time, then expect him to explode, or you've got to imagine that he's going to leave it all out there and try to get the judges out of it, because I can't imagine they're scoring him up on this one, bro. But maybe Slick is going to take them out of it anyway.
Jesus. Rain down, punch after punch in that top mount position. Again, Intro holding on for dear life, but it just doesn't seem to be the case.
Oh, what?
Jesus.
On the hair of his chinny chin, he decides to stay alive, and Intro is doing a good job of kind of staying alive, but he's not having any offense so far. It's all been Slick Colt, and Slick, it looks like he's going to be moving on to the next round. He's going to be fighting the winner of our next fight, which is going to be Donamite and Naz, I believe, and that's going to. I think it's Donamite. I might be wrong on that one, but yeah, it's going to be It's interesting because he's got a fantastic game plan. It's almost like he's been playing with this character all day, and he's kind of studied exactly what Intro is going to do, because I've never seen Intro look this lost in a fight.
Yeah, like I said, it's because of the variation in what is being brought at him. Slick has given him so many, he's given him the same look, but just with different outcomes every time. There's such variance to what he is doing, Doc, that it's a little bit overwhelming when you're in there. It kind of gets you in a reactive state rather than an active state, and I think that's what we're seeing from Intro here, is that he's been forced into that reactive state, and Slick is kind of slowly taken that fight away from him.
Yeah, and that's Intro's skill through and through. His abilities to read his opponent, just to make those adjustments, and really just try his damnedest to make life difficult for Intro here.
That's a tough fight. Intro, obviously, is going to be kicking himself after that one, but he did his best. I think he got outsmarted in the IQ of Slick was display there. You've got to give credit to the higher ranked fighter, because he came out and really did a good job of dominating that fight and making it very difficult for Intro to get into it. No disrespect to Intro, he's one of my favourite fighters in the Xbox roster, but looking forward to seeing him back. But in this fight, Slick showed his veteran savvy in his fight IQ, Cyrus.
100%, man, 100%. Look, both guys incredibly skilled. You can see that Slick Colt took him very seriously in the way that he approached that fight, and in the way that he approached it himself. Like you said, probably studied some tape, been training with the best of the best, of course, the current champion, the former champion in Dirty Dave and Trixie being his campmates. I think that would have allowed him, because they were all training for tonight's card, right, for that first fight this evening. I think it puts them all in a beautiful position now. Slick Colt maybe pitching one of the best performances of his entire kind of career here. But it was a beautiful matchup to kind of come across. Respect to both competitors, and it sets us up beautifully for the final fight of this first stage of this evening. They're humbled, which is going to be between the one and only S&B Donna, taking this on short notice, and the infamous EK Naz representing the EK boys once again here this evening. I can't wait for this.
Yeah, EK Naz is obviously a TikTok sensation. You know, he's really, he is ESFL champion as well. He's got some skills, this guy. He actually smoked me the other day when we played. So the other thing is though, I think Donna might be having some stage fright, because at the moment we're getting word from the truck that he might not be entering this cage at the moment, so we might have to get a short notice replacement. We do have a few guys on hand, and Naz might be getting a quick thingy, but Donna Meat, you know, he might be on a night out. His name is Donna Meat, Cyrus. You know, it's difficult sometimes to show up to these, you know what people are like. It is a live event as well. We get this a few times. People get stuck up that infamous tree that we talk about.
Yeah, it's been odd. Donna is normally very, very much on this. I don't think that, quite honestly, I don't think he's ever pulled out, so hopefully everything is all right with that guy right there. Obviously we'll get updated, I'm sure, as the night progresses, but I believe they are getting another active competitor in as we speak.
Yeah, it's Pabst as well. Pabst is a fantastic player as well. Good record, similar, exact same record as Donna. You know, these guys are all these bottom, just near the top 20. They're, you know, the top 20 essentially. They all have the same record, and that's how you earn it this season. You've got to try your best to get yourself as high record as you can, Cyrus, and then you might be called up on second notice to fight the former ESFL champion and the TikTok sensation, and you could have a chance to put your name on the map and have a lot of new supporters follow you instead of him.
Yeah, honestly, bro, I have to say credit where credit is due. Okay, this is no, genuinely, bro, genuinely.
I love it.
Naz has had 2 opponents pull out on him this season.
Oh, I know.
Leading up to
crazy.
this.
Are people scared? Is that what it is?
Maybe it is, bro. Maybe it is. But I have to say, right, credit where credit is due. Not a moment's complaint out of that guy. He has taken each and every fight with, you know, almost with a, you know, a grin on his face, I could imagine.
Almost like he knows it's going to happen. You know, Ned knows it's going to happen. Naz knows it's going to happen. There's a few people. There's a lot of people that get pulled out on Doc, and they kind of know it's coming. And Naz does that. Yeah, Naz does that thing where he goes on his TikTok and fights 60 people in a row. You know, so he's no issues with him. He's not going to be bothered at all.
He'll fight anyone, any place, any time. Just tell me who, and I'll batter him. Is probably the attitude he's done. He fights that many people. Paps versus Naz, that's a hell of a match. Paps, last time around they saw each other, they had a fantastic fight overall. You did have Naz coming out the victor, but Paps at no point made it easy there.
Yeah, 100%.
On the point of Paps as well, I mean, obviously he's talking about respect, as respect is due. That man is stepped up at moment's notice. He wasn't preparing for this moment. Of course, he has had the opportunity, and he has, you know, kind of answered when opportunity is called.
I've only just realised that Pabst and Naz fought last week. They fought at number 70, and he was Leon Edwards, and he was the other guy, and he nearly finished him, and then Naz beat him in the 3rd round with an armbar. I'm 900% sure that was exactly those 2 guys that fought. No, I only just realised when you said it that this guy is stepping up on short notice to do that. But there's a lot of risk involved here, as you were saying, Cyrus. Naz was getting beat for 2 rounds of that fight across the octagon. He managed to get the finish in that 3rd round, but that was no easy task. This is a phenomenal fight to have at the end of this first bracket of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, exactly right, brother, exactly right. Each and every fight has been building, of course. This entire event continues to level up each and every single set. We've got to this final stage. The pressure is high. These guys, fighting with it all on the line. I cannot wait to get into it, to be quite honest with you. We are moments away from it. I believe that these guys are just being set up. We do apologize in the short delays, of course. Like we said, these live events, these things can happen. But once again, what were you going to say?
Let's talk about the rest of the bracket as well, because we know that the winner of this is going to be fighting Slick. And Slick just had a fantastic performance. So whoever wins this fight, you know, they'll be fighting a tough fighter. And Slick, who was on his game in that fight, he looked like he'd been training. He looked like he was ready to go. And that's going to be a fantastic fight. But the fight after this to see another title fight. It's going to be Leaks the Great versus Dirty Dave, and Leaks was fantastic in his fight against Jamie Bucks. Had a few moments, but Dirty Dave was flawless, Cyrus, and that's going to be a fight in the next bracket to kick things off. It's going to be brilliant.
Yes, sir, brother. Well, this is going to get us one step closer, as we were talking about the bracket.
Two B3 members back to back. That's some dedication to the man to win a championship. B3 are not a camp to mess around with. Jesus.
For sure. Well, guys, it is that time. The very last fight of this side of the bracket. The one and only EK Naz taking on all comers, it would seem, here this evening. Ooh. His third matchup of this evening, but his first fight there, Mr. Humbledink, and it is against the one and only Vex Pabst. I mean, that man's got confidence, of course, coming off what I believe you were saying, ESFL's last event. And, you know, this is one hell of an opportunity, brother. Like I said, he was not expecting this going into today, but he gets that call up, opportunity calls, and he's trying to grasp it now with both hands.
Yeah, definitely. Just to reiterate what they did in their last fight, Naz went into that fight as Leon Edwards, I believe, and the other guy was Conor McGregor. Perhaps was Conor McGregor, and he basically pillar paused. He was out striking him throughout the fight, and Naz got dropped a few times and managed to survive and clutched an armbar in the third round to win that fight. So Pabst is fantastic on the feet, and Naz is going to know that. He's going to come out firing because he did start slow in his last fight, Doc.
Yeah, instead, though, you say slow. I don't think Naz knows the word in this fight. He's coming out, getting those jabs, throwing every bit of combo he can. Perhaps, on the other hand, starting off very, very slow and methodical, working that body down low, using the body jab on occasion. Kind of doesn't do much damage overall, but he does work that stamina nicely. That's how it does me with the combos, and both of these guys are just swinging for the heels in short and sharp bursts here, Limit.
These Vex boys, man, they got some I'm telling you, and he is putting them on EK Naz early. EK Naz entering back with some combinations of his own, but the trades are massive, Humble.
This is a great fight. I love this. On the feet, these two are very, very close. I love the breaking combinations from Pabst. He knows when to strike to stop the combination from his opponent. He's fantastic at knowing how to block these two, and then you're going to be vulnerable after that. And Naz has got to be really careful of throwing combinations. He's got to start singling out some singles as well as, you know, some double jabs, etc. But he'll have a game plan in the back of his mind. He's going to have to make some adjustments throughout the fight. So is Pabst as well. This is a great fight going forward, Doc.
It really is, and Naz is coming back and forth, looking for the shots. He's done that. He's done the spinning back fist twice, so he's done the lead hook into spinning back fist, followed by the jab straight. And I think that spinning back fist really makes life difficult because you can't really counter it unless you pull. And if you pull back, you're going to be met with that jab straight there, and it's just a very difficult overall combo to do. Head kick does land there, though.
Yeah, pick your poison for sure. Over the course of this bout, these guys are letting them fly, Humble, and you can see that damage really starting to bleed through on Pabst's chin now. He has to start to try and turn it around, but he continues to land combos of his own. This is so really close.
This is down! Already, Naz landed a beautiful jab, rear hook, and then obviously he's now going to take it to the ground, but Pabst made him pay. Pabst knows when to interrupt combinations. He is fantastic at interrupting Naz's combinations. He knows certain ones that he's going to throw, but this is where Naz got the job done last time, and this is where I believe he's got to utilise his skills. He's fantastic on the ground, Cyrus. He's held me in certain positions for a full 5 minutes, and he's very difficult to get off here. He's great at blocking transitions, and that's where I think his skill set really is when it gets tough, essentially, in the stand-up.
Yeah, and honestly, it's a great plan B to have in your back pocket there, Doc. Obviously, this round is going to be going the way of Pabst due to the rocks. And I believe he's had maybe 1 or 2 more rocks than Naz at this stage. But intelligent move takes him down, slows it down. Means that he doesn't have to take any more damage, and he can work some of his own with those little bunny shots, just chopping away at the head health, you know, towards the end of this round.
Yeah, well, Pabst got the knockdown there, securing the round, and then as soon as Pabst got the knockdown, Naz took him down. That probably was the right call overhaul. It does mean that you lose the first round, but coming into the second and third round, you've got to know that if Naz is going to want to win this, he's probably going to look for the takedown early on, which means if I'm Pabst it, I'm coming out a bit more aggressive. I'm going to get his back against that wall, look for the combo shots, look to get a stun, maybe a knockdown if I can, to secure the round, so then I'm more confident if I end up being on the ground, so I don't end up having to rush and I don't end up being forced in a position where I don't want to be here.
There was a lot of success with both fighters. Naz comes out with a beautiful 4-piece combination on the block, lands in the every shot right there, and forces Pabs back. Pabs is staying in his face. He's not letting off. He's really trying to land the straight punch and follow it with a combination after Naz has kind of missed a shot after a 3-piece, and that's where he's really doing some damage. Naz has really got to figure out the footwork at the moment, the combinations he's throwing, and if he takes too much damage and Pabs manages to get some ground and pound, he could be finished. He has survived the pass, but you can't do that. You can't bait that too many times, Cyrus, because your opponent will make adjustments.
Yeah, for sure, brother, for sure. Honestly, this is so razor thin. He's got impressed up against that cage right now, and Pabs, with that killer instinct, is trying to look for that killer blow. Naz doing an excellent job of just about riding out on the edge and kind of looking for counters of his own, but he has to be wary because maybe just a little bit too much is bleeding through here, dog.
Pabs just controlled the striking range. Naz is kind of tentative to engage. You can see it in the way he's striking. He's looking more for the takedowns. He's looking more to get that distance to make Pabs walk into him to then shoot it. He doesn't. He knows if he engages in the striking for battle, Pabs is going to try find a little just to time his combos correctly, to find just the in-between ranges of his shots. Do it. A lovely deny there as well. And I think this is where you're going to really start seeing Pabs rise, because Naz has got to find a way to dig deep to then start coming back up. I think that's second round.
Nice.
Knockdown really unsettled him, and he hasn't been able to maintain that momentum going since.
This is such a high.
Do you see it? He says momentum.
Beautiful. Oh, nice work. Beautiful work from Pabs. Oh, he nearly catches him back, and Naz has got to be careful. He's got the rock, the knockdown. Oh, he gets it again. This could be it, but the head health from both guys is very difficult, very sus, but 2 minutes to work for Naz on the ground. He really needs to make this advantage count, Cyrus.
Man, I mean, this is a great round from him, bro. Great round. And if he's able to secure some more top control here in this second, 1:30 to go, maybe work a little bit more GA if the opportunity presents, but I'm sure that after those couple of rocks, dog, he's going to be happy just to secure this round, man, because it was a tough first one for sure.
It was a very tough first round, and the beginning of the second wasn't great for Naz either. Getting that knockdown, knowing that your opponent's now hurt enough where 1 or 2 shots at the right moments can really get him knocked down and make you more willing to engage, come out with a few more flurries, and it was just the way it went. Because it was also a case of that block health is now down quite a bit, so you've got that to pull back on him as well.
I love this fight. This fight is brilliant. It's almost like we got a better fight from the pullouts that we had. Obviously, these two have had a war already. They give us such a fantastic fight before, and now you're seeing why. First round, I believe, Pabs. Second round so far is Naz's, and Naz has just got the reversal right there. 14 seconds left of the clock. I don't think too much damage is going to be done. Maybe not a finish now. But it's 1-1 going into the third, Doctor, and one of these guys is going to have to put it on the other one. Could go either way.
Yeah, it could go either way. You saw the first round being a possibility, and you saw Naz capitalise on the mistakes that Pabs did. And now this third and final round is, you know, Naz wants to get it down to the ground. That's his end game if he wants to probably win this. However, you saw his ability to strike, you saw his ability to catch his opponent, and that's what Pabs has got to be careful.
Oh, he gets him!
He's what
He's
Pabs
knocked
is
him!
good at.
Oh, he gets him!
Short notice replacement doesn't matter. He wanted vengeance from a previous fight. He lost in the third round in his previous time fighting Naz. This time he knocks him clean out. Didn't even have to do it. His head bounces off the cages and gets
rematch.
Right.
I want to see the rematch. I generally think them two should headline a fight night card, because they've had one to Naz went undefeated last season. Pabs is now 1-0 this season. No matter what happens with Pabs, if he wins the title today, brilliant, obviously. But at one point, these two need to have the trilogy.
Those two need to have a main event of a fight night.
Oh, I love it. I love it, honestly.
Jesus.
1-1, and it was such a close fight. And the 1-1, obviously going into that third as well. It's very even. And credit to Naz for taking that fight. Essentially, he could have kicked up a fuss.
Yeah.
Cyrus, he didn't kick up a fuss. He likes to play people who could beat him, and essentially Pabster's got some formula there that clearly says that he knows how to strike with him.
Look, honestly, I rate it more that it's one of the biggest qualities I see from a fighter. Okay, it's why, you know, the likes of Trixie, Dirty Dave go down in the history books as some of the best, you know, players that you're going to see grace this octagon. It's because they're willing to fight anybody at any time, and that's what Naz has done here this evening. did not go his way, and Vex Pabs able to grasp that opportunity with both hands, and now he's going to try and run with it. Of course, has his opportunity at primetime gold here this evening, and like I said, I mean, sometimes that short notice thing, Doc, can be a weight off your shoulders. It can be, you weren't stressing leading up to it, that, all the way up about what your opponent does, who there is, and who they are, and what they bring to the table. So maybe he came into this a little bit more fresh. Pressure was off him, and he performed, to that next level to secure that win.
Yeah, he really did a fantastic job. It was impressive. Like, both sides. This credit to Nance for taking it again on short notice. Incredible, just resiliency to stay with this fight, to stay with it even after having 3 pullouts and then coming out and having a performance like that. That was a close fight. That was arguably fight of the night, in my opinion. Tense fight all around. First round went to Paps, second round went to Naz, and that third round, something came out of animalistic nature out of Paps there. It's humble.
Yeah, you seen it in the first fight, and I said it before the end of that second round. You can't dance with the devil. You can't let your opponent rock you 2 or 3 or 4 times. He did it in the previous fight and wasn't able to put him away. The durability, the resistance from Naz, the head movement was on display in the last fight. But your opponent will make adjustments. They will know they'll kick themselves, Cyrus. You go to bed dreaming about that stuff. If you lose that fight and you could have won it, and essentially against somebody such a controversial figure like Naz gets a lot of hate. You see this straight away in the chat. A lot of people come back in from all sorts of different places to laugh and cry, but the main thing is he causes attention, and the other thing is as well, like we said, we give him credit because he takes the fight without any hesitation, and look how dangerous it was. Look how dangerous that fight was.
Yeah, look, fortune favors the bold. Did not go his way this evening, like you said, and look, if you haven't got haters, you ain't doing something right. But nevertheless, my man, it moves us on to the next stage of this tournament. This Grand Prix has been sensational already this evening. Fireworks have been fully going off, Doc, but a title fight is once again up on the line. B3 Leaks has an opportunity to take that gold away from BFAP Dirty Dave, the current reigning champion. This, of course, now switching us across over to lightweight, I do believe, and these guys are all foes. They know each other very much around the scene, and honestly, bro, I think that this is maybe one of the toughest tests that Dirty Dave has had to this date, to his championship run, if you will.
Yeah, Dave's got a very difficult test across the board. With another B3 boy on the bar. I fought Lex in other leagues. He is notoriously good and killed me in 1 round. So I'd imagine Dave could probably make it last 2 if he does lose. However, this is a 5-round fight across the board. So Lex has got to manage his stamina, and this is going to be the first fight in lightweight.
Look at that. 62 wins. These played a lot. 90. They played me more than me and my teammates, Cyrus. 92 fights between them. They must obviously rate each other to spar with each other that much. And Leaks looks like, I think Dave's one of them people, you got to play him a few times. You got to play him 92 times essentially to kind of get a read on him. And that's exactly what he's done. And Leaks looks like he might be the favourite going into this one. But I do not doubt the champion in Dirty Dave. He's been brilliant in prime time. And when them bright lights show up, when people put them lights on you, and when the commentary team's talking about you, and people are in the chat and watching you, that's where Dave comes alive, and he will not take risks in this fight. I expect this to be a boring 5-0 fight, essentially.
Yeah, I won't go that far, brother, as you said.
Dave's taking no risk at all.
I think that's one of the things that Dirty Dave has been changing towards the later end of his kind of run towards last season, is that he has been a lot more active for the finish. He does still fight very intelligently, but it's hard to really kind of get something going against somebody like Leakstock because of the way that he picks his shots, his kind of aggressive striking prowess on UFC 4. It is very difficult for the best of the best.
You need to restart the fight. It's only 3 rounds.
Oh, that is very true. We will see if it gets past that stage, right?
Yeah, I guess obviously if it's a 5-round fight, they're in the early stage, I would advise them to quickly quit out and just start again. It's a different sort of feeling, different atmosphere. Obviously, if it goes like 3 rounds, what do? We do 2? It's difficult.
No, of course, yeah. It's one of those ones. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to get word to them in the corner right now during this round, so hopefully they will see something in between rounds, but nevertheless, maybe they got one warm-up round down in each other, then we'll see if they can finish each other in this one and maybe take away all of the questions leading up to it there. I won't put it past the B3 boys, Doc, to get a finish in that first round, although it is going to be difficult against something. There it is. They noticed.
Start again. Pick the same characters, guys. You can't mix up that character pick just because you felt something different, etc. You've got to pick the same characters first of all.
They will go the same, yeah. They know this.
My reasoning for saying what I said is because of the character pick. Dave picked Islam Makhachev, which Makhachev, or whatever you want to call him, and he basically, to me, that tells me that he wants to rest, he wants to take it easy, he's going to try to take him down. But that first round kind of said otherwise, Cyrus. He's getting a habit at the moment of striking. I think that's because he's training with Trey. He's very confident when he's striking at the moment, but his sort of his ability, his skill set, I believe, is in his grappling, his ability to be patient, his ability to make his opponent move before he does and then capitalise on that. And that's where, Dirty Dave, for me, capitalises. So he needs to go back to his roots in this one, I believe. But Leaks are great. Was doing a fantastic job of keeping him off him right there and stopping him. The little taster we got told me that Leaks knows what he's doing. He knows David inside and out.
Yeah, he quite... Well, as you said, man, they've competed or fought each other quite a lot at times, and that's obviously going to give them reads. But one thing I will say about Dirty Dave, we'll just skip across the other guy, but one thing I will say about Dirty Dave is that due to the way that guy approaches this game, Doc, the fact that he does spend so many hours in the labs, he has very, very clean inputs, and it means that he can replicate many, many styles. So that's what's really been the deciding factor in a lot of his fights in the past. It's not just that he has grappling prowess, not just the fact that he can bring the strikes to back all of that up. It's the fact that he can dictate where that fight takes place for the most part. And although he has fallen in love with his striking, if he opts to go for a grapple-heavy approach in this one, it could potentially put Leaks off his A game, which, of course, is bringing those hands, as all the B3 boys do.
Going back to your original statement about Dave and the lab, I think he's spent more game time in the lab than he actually has in actual the octagon fighting. To be honest, I don't know if that's true or not, but it sounds
more viable. No, I think Dave will probably practice a lot of that. But to be honest, if you're a content creator, especially, you do it a lot. Like I found a dash stroke the other day where you from push it up side control when you get a stamina advantage, and it's almost unstoppable. There's certain things that you find just messing about in the lab and kind of doing, and that's what Dave does. The one thing I love about Dave, if he hurts you, he does a spear. He literally chains those things together, which takes him to a position like side control while you're hurt, while your stamina's low. And it's something you don't see about a lot of people. He's got his own kind of style, but the problem is with your own type of style, Cyrus, it's readable. And that's why Leaks is, in these two fighting so much, Leaks is going to have a bit of an advantage with reading that style, having the chance to play him so much.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that one of the great things about the B3 boys as a whole is it doesn't really matter who they're fighting. They are just comfortable in their offense and they believe in it. I think that belief, that confidence is a lot of the time what separates them, what allows them to push through some of those moments of adversity. But that's not really going to be an issue for somebody like BFAT Dirty Dave. He has been tested in all realms of this game, and he believes that he has the skills to disarm anybody in front of him, to this stage.
Oh, beautiful work from Islam.
He's having some great success and doing fantastic. Reading his opponents well. Dave's also got to remember that he's Islam, so he's going to want to mix in those takedowns, but he has got to remember that he can't engage as much with Poirier, since Poirier's got a brilliant striking now.
He's really chopping the legs and he's really going back to these straight strikes as well. The double jab is... Oh, there we go from Dave. Oh, Leaks is on fire. Jesus, he was ready for that one. He knew exactly what was coming, Cyrus, and he did not let Dave do his sort of normal sort of grappling. And look at this, Leaks now on top and he's denying Dave. We don't often see this.
Yeah, look, he's saying I got some grappling chops of my own, utilised it to get back to his feet, but did so intelligently. However, Dirty motherfucking Dave utilising a court kick to push him up against the cage, Doc, and get a high amplitude takedown. Quite a lot of time to work as well, brother.
Yeah, he's really trying his damnedest to hold his position, be aggressive, and make sure his reads on his opponents are right, and so he can really hold his position down here, humble.
Yeah, definitely. He's trying to remain the champion going this one. It's going to be a tactical masterclass throughout this one. It's a very dangerous fight for Dave. I expect, like I said, Iris, well, we've seen a lot of risk so far leading into this one. We've seen it from Naz earlier on. He lost the fight. We've seen it from a lot of other guys as well. Risk breeds a lot of unsuccess, and that's what you've got to kind of avoid. And Dave knows this. Dave's this is what I mean about his fight IQ. He'll take the risk when necessary. He's really good at kind of judging the time when to take them, when to not. And right now is not the time to take those risks. You know, you're fighting someone who knows you inside and out. You really need to get an advantage. You need to get it early. You need to really, if you want to remain the champion, you need to capitalise on their mistakes and go to your strengths.
Well, of course, risk is a necessary evil, and how you manage that risk is very, very important. Dirty Dave has been a master of it up until to this point in his UFC 4 kind of career, if you want to call it that. So he is doing phenomenally. He has been on a hot streak, of course, ending the season on a high last time, winning that belt and kind of coming forward. But as I mentioned, this is a very, very tough test for him so far. You can see that, the way that Leaks has come out here, he believes in his ability to get this finished off. He believes that he could be walking away as the primetime champ after this bout and be defending it or going for his first defense in the next one. So I don't know which way this one's going to go. They continue to make the adjustments, but it's anybody's money at this stage.
Yeah, it really is anybody's money, and he's doing such a good job here. Jesus, that stunt early on has had massive success and everything down to the body. Perhaps strong person Lex is putting on the pressure, but Dave is also making sure to fire back here.
Yeah, he really needs to put it on him. He needs to try and press Dave against that fence and really try to make it dirty. Ironic, really, isn't it? That the one kind of pressing and making it dirty right now is Leaks the Grey, and Leaks knows how to beat Dave. He knows the form, he knows the strategy. He needs to implement that in this round.
Yeah, Leaks does definitely dare to be great, and he is more often than not rewarded for his not so much caution for the win, but his high pressure and high damage sort of approach. Well, he has impressed really good here on the inside, though, making this cage feel very small.
Oh, it's going to be a takedown, and he's got no stamina. He's got to be incredibly careful right now. Oh, he didn't go for the Kimura. Obviously, it's a very obvious move. These guys are very high level. They know your opponent's going to might deny that, so it's kind of obvious, I guess, from my opinion. But yeah, he has no stamina right there.
This is bad for Leaks the Great, though. Gets two Dinars from side control. Does Dirty Dave, the current champion, now puts him in crucifix, and there's 2 minutes 45 left on the clock. Man, this is getting very, very bad.
It's getting very bad, and Lex has really got to be really careful here. That crucifix is deadly. That he has no head health, but somehow didn't get the finish the fight area, and now we're into this position.
Can't have that happen again. If he has that happen again, it's going to be over, essentially, for Dave. And Dave is going where he wants him right now, from real danger to all of a sudden in control. And this could be it. Dave is going to try and retain the belt, and he does. And like I said, it doesn't matter about the records. Forget about those records. We're in the primetime Prix. It's all about this esports competition. It's all about the bright lights. And Dave has shown time and time again he can overcome that. Another finish for him, Silence.
Yeah, I mean, and still, my man, and still Dirty Dave doing the damn thing, getting his hand raised after a lot of adversity. As I mentioned, Doc, possibly one of his toughest tests to this date, and he had to battle that adversity. He had to, his mettle was truly tested, and he came out victorious nevertheless.
Yeah, and that was a fantastic job. Dave dug deep like the champion needs to, read his opponent well, made the adjustments where needed to, and really put the pressure on.
Well, Mr. Humbledink with that one in the box. BFAP Dirty Dave moving on to the semi-finals. We are now going to be absolutely treated between, with a fight between BFAP Jakey up against ICB the Pug. He is in that last performance, Jakey came out with a sensational knockout, probably one of the best knockouts of this evening so far here, Humble. And of course, Pug had to go through a gritty battle, a very gritty battle actually, with Kai to get to this next stage. So all to play for, and they are the next people up, if they are able to get past this test, to challenge for that gold, brother, in the semi-finals.
Oh, 100%. And whoever wins this fight between these two is going to have a big opportunity against Dave. Dave, his biggest test was his last fight. It was unexpected as well, because Leaks, it's all about styles make matchups. Each of these guys play each other on an individual basis, and when they come together, you can only kind of see how many times they've played each other, sort of the styles and matchups, etc. When they actually face off in a lobby, and Leaks was a great opponent for Dave, but Dave overcome that. He's got to be thrilled right now, and now he's going to get a chance to watch the rest of the bracket again as Jakey tries to take on Pug. So it'll be incredibly interesting to see who's gonna win that one. I know we've got a lot of wrangling going on at the moment with a lot of the back from you guys, but I don't know if you have an update, Cyrus, what's actually happening next. But I know one of these fights are going to happen, but I don't know which one yet.
Yeah, I'll actually throw it across, I believe, to Doctor who is the resident that has been communicating with our production team in the back as I've been getting the graphics sorted, my man. I understand that somebody has slipped or tripped on some wires. Unfortunately, there may be a bit of a switch up. What's going on, my man?
So, we're going to have a couple of differences. Up next, we'll be having Trixie versus Mix-Ups. And it's looked like, although Paps managed to get the win over Naz, if Naz is still up for it, he will be back in and he'll be fighting BFAP Slick.
Yeah, Paps has kind of forfeited his spot, which goes back to the guy that he kind of beat, because, you know, that's how it works. There's no one else to kind of offer it to. So that means Naz is going to get an opportunity again to come back into the tournament against Slick. You know, it's kind of weird, but he gets to right a wrong, essentially, and come back and fight that guy. But it means we're going to be greeted to the all-time GOAT coming up next, hopefully, if they're ready, in Trixie versus Mix-Ups. What a fight this is. EK versus BFAP, two of the top camps amongst the community going at it. And these two have fought numerous times throughout the season. Trixie very rarely slips up, but what a fight we have.
Yeah, obviously those guys, their fight is coming a little bit sooner, so they are just setting up as we speak. But perhaps, in all fairness, right, if anybody gets it past, it's that guy right there. He stepped up on a moment's notice. To be fair, some things have actually happened, and unfortunately he will be unable to continue. But respect to him for stepping up, and I believe that we will be having Naz, his opponent, that fought tooth and nail, to be fair, every step of the way through that fight, is going to get a second opportunity. Yeah. It's almost like that wild card that we used to do, right, on some of these events. So, yes, these guys are now ready. They are almost lobbied up. As you mentioned, Swift Trixie going up against Mix-Ups, an old foe that has beaten him in the past, actually took the gold off him at one point, although Trixie was able to right that in, with subsequent performances. He knows that this opponent is going to know him inside and out, Doc. He knows that he's going to be very familiar with, both guys on what they bring to the octagon. And I feel that when it's a familiar foe, it really does help, improve the overall tempo to that match and gives you a lot of confidence, because you've maybe suffered some losses, but you've obviously been able to beat them a lot as well.
Yeah, you've got to have such a good ability to really make your case here. So,
okay, Doc is doing a lot of wrangling at the back.
Yeah.
We'll be honest with everyone as well. We're just moving fights about and doing stuff. There's some real life situations that happen when we're doing these things. That's why, speaking for myself and my situations, my kid was sick one time when I was doing commentary, Cyrus. I had to run upstairs and my kid banged his head off a counter and I could see him on the monitor and I was like, what the hell's going on? And I had to go and do some stuff. So, if these things happen, players get that as well. So that's why we move around. We accommodate to these players. Some of them can't fight. Some things happen. But it looks like we're going to have to... We do our best, essentially. It's a live league. We do our freaking best to try and entertain you guys and keep it going. So thank you for you guys for coming along and supporting us. But Trixie versus Mix-Ups next. What a fight we have in hand. You can see the record there. Very, very close. 13-7. It obviously sways in Trixie's favour. But them 7 wins, that's almost like a 60-40.
Yeah, exactly right, bro. When it's so close, like I said, they're old foes, right? They're old foes, and they have truly tested each other in virtually every domain known to man, Doctor. Just to kind of, especially going into this one, a pick like Charlie Olives for Mix-Ups, I think is fantastic. He does have sneaky submission skills. He knows that Trixie is probably predominantly going to strike, but is likely to maybe shoot that takedown as well. So having such a varied skill set and being dangerous from all positions, I think, is key for Mix-Ups in this fight.
Mix-Up mixing up all across the way, and he's got to make sure he sticks to that plan, because if he doesn't, he's going to get caught very early on.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of discussion in the chat. Who should come back right now? We've decided it's Naz. The reason we've decided Naz is his opponent that beat him. A very, very, very close fight. Can't make the fight which fight goes to him. But these two are fighting right now. Give your respect to these guys. Trixie versus Mix-Up. Very close fight going into this one, the first round. And I'm liking the sort of pick so far from Oliveira. Mix-ups really does like to mix it up, Cyrus, and it's a very difficult one because he's got boxing, he's got takedowns, he's got 100 submission, you know, he's got a bit of cheese as well, a bit of John Jones in him, so he's got a bit of everything. It's everything you need to kind of take and beat Trixie, a former GOAT in this division.
Look, Trixie is so fundamentally sound. You've got to be unorthodox, and look what mix-ups is bringing to the table. We saw in the last fight against a teammate that this guy is fired up, Doc, heading into this event, and he means business, brother. And you can see in the way he's approaching it, does get clipped with a check hook right there, but nevertheless, he is active and quite clearly looking to injure his opponent nice and early to try and take this fight by the horn, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to be doing if you're mix-ups. You want to be controlling the fight early on. Because Trixie's such a difficult opponent. This man will make adjustments at any point, and he's using someone like Poirier. And Poirier is one of Trixie's most advanced fighters. He's got a very good javelin, he's got very good grappling, and he's able to get any opportunity he wants. Body crane kick there, but so far, it seems evenly matched in most cases.
Nice work. I'm liking this. Oh, beautiful from Mix-Up. I've got a feeling Mix-Ups is going to really give Tricky some problems this one until he starts making those adjustments. You know, you can already see certain little traps set up, Cyrus. He's very tricky with Oliveira. I'm waiting for those takedowns to start coming in. Trixie's no slouch though. He's gonna make those adjustments when he needs to. He just needs to not get caught.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Trixie has been working on starting faster because traditionally he's been a slow starter. This is only a 3-round fight though, Doctor, so he cannot afford to allow too many minutes to tick by. So far, Mix-Ups, I believe, is doing just about enough to edge this fight in his favor. Momentum slowly stacking on the side of Charlie Olives. A minute left in this round, my man. And, you know, I feel like if he continues on that rate, he may have secured it.
He may have secured the first round, however, Trixie's notorious second round is where you're really going to expect Trixie to make the adjustments, and then leading off to Humble's notorious third round comments of the third round matters the most. So, if that's the way it's going to be played, if we are going to assume it's go decision, I'll imagine Trixie gets to second round, and then that third round is going to be about who makes the adjustments you can look forward. You've got 20 seconds left in this round, seems to be the consensus that Mix-Ups has won. However, it's Trixie's ability to make adjustments is what makes him such a good player, such a high-level player overall. He'll make the reads and he'll make the adjustments as time goes on. Looking at that though, Trixie arguably won that first round.
It's one of the things, not like you said, the adjustments from Trixie. I think he's one of the best adjustment maker in the entire UFC community. That might just be me. But he just make, like, from prime time, from what I've seen, from the ASFL, from all of the competitions I've seen, one of the hardest guys to finish in. He constantly comes back. Even his fights with Bang Bang where he lost, there was multiple times where he won that fight, and that could go either way with if the person zigs when they should have zagged, as we always talk about, Cyrus. So, you know, it happens time and time again. So that's why he puts himself in those favourable positions. Beautiful work from Trixie. Look at the little adjustments he's making as well.
Well, traditionally, as I mentioned in his first bout, this is his round where he gets the highest finish percentage. Most of his knockouts come in this second round, and you can already see that he's starting to turn up the pace on the feet. And more often than not, a lot of these shots are landing, Doctor, which is definitely going to build that confidence back in the side of Trixie as he tries to actively hunt the finish.
Yeah, actively hunting the finish is what he wants to do. Trixie's got to make the right reads at the right time. Now, though, Mix-Ups on top, and you should, hopefully, if you're Mix-Ups here, stay slow, control the position, and really look to capitalise on it, because it's not very often you're going to be on top of Trixie.
Nice work right now. He's now in backside. He's going to try to go to back mount, but doesn't get it, and I'm liking the Mix-Ups that he's doing right now as Trixie denies that back take. Difficult job from Trixie. Trixie's going to have to try and get to a neutral position, or even to the guard position, so he can utilise maybe some rubber guard, maybe some overall offense in their elbows as well. A beautiful denial right there from Mix-Ups, and I'm liking Mix-Up strategy. It is a 3-round fight as well, Cyrus. You haven't even talked about that. Going to win 2 of these rounds to kind of secure that decision, and that's exactly what Mix-Up's trying to do right now.
Yeah, and look, Trixie is a 5-round fighter, bro. Basically, his entire fights for the last 2 or 3 years have all been 5-round fights, so this is a bit of a different feeling for him, I am sure. Minutes ticking away, obviously, at the moment. I do think the Mix-Ups is looking really good for my money. Trixie has been doing some good work of his own, but I just feel like the overall body of work now is starting to lean in the side of Mix-Ups, and he decides to separate, maybe just to try and get more damage, or actually, I don't know. I don't know why he separated on. I don't know why, bro.
Trixie.
You've seen some weird stuff. Whoa!
Trixie could be it. This could be it right now. Mix-Ups is trying to get a finish. He decides to get back to his feet, and he's got to watch out. Mix-Ups is very tricky, dog.
He's very tricky. He mixes up in any way. Now going for the takedown. Now we see him on bottom again. Trixie is having to really dig deep to really understand. His stamina's high. His head health is not too bad, and his block is fairly low here. But he's still got it in him. He still knows it. He's been a part of this game forever. He knows every round. So you've got to imagine Bill Trixie right now. It's breathing, it's sinking, and hopefully humble. He'll be able to come back. But Mix-Ups is a very well adapted opponent now.
Yeah, definitely. He's a very well adapted opponent, and he's up for the challenge. I love people that come in with like their own sort of swag, their own sort of style, and you know, the size to take the opportunity. Like just like Leaks did as well against Dirty Dave. I don't think that was an easy fight, and you see like the confidence. I love that against these top players who have done so well in the competition. At the moment, for me, Mix-Ups might be 2 rounds up. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
it might be 1-1, but Mix-Ups has done a fantastic job. And Trixie's really gonna have to put the bag. It's a 3-round fight, not a 5-round fight, which is used to fighting in championships and in ranked as well.
Yeah. Honestly, this is now down to the wire, right? This is down to the wire. This third and final round is where it's all going to be made. There's a lot of highlights being shown of Charlie Olives. Statistically, very, very close. But I would say as well, personally, I am leaning the side of Mix-Ups. I almost feel like he's a reinvented fighter here this evening. I've never seen him this focused, Doc. I don't think I've ever seen him perform with such a menacing kind of style, both in the last fight and this one. He feels like, just like Charlie Olives did when he went up to lightweight, he feels reinvigorated and charged ahead against this title run he has in front of him.
Yeah, he's making sure to put all the right movements all where he needs to, breathing carefully and just always staying aggressive there.
Nice work right now. Beautiful knee back to the body. Mix-Ups going back to the ground with Trixie back to his feet right now. Trixie's got a lot of stamina as well, Cyrus. He's going to have to unload some of that in this round. As he's alluded to, he needs to kind of let that go because, you know, Mix-Ups is, he's doing a good job of neutralising them up. We don't know his stamina so far. Trixie's hands. This could be it. Mix-Ups looking for the upset win. What a fight we have in our hands.
Mix-Ups looking like he's got doing that. Now the gap.
This is crazy.
Oh, Jesus, these two are putting on a fight and a half tonight.
Yeah, honestly, Mix-Ups doing phenomenal. It is not over quite yet, but he secures a takedown again, Mr. Hummeldink. That's going to be absolutely amazing for him and his corner. They're going to be on an absolute high right now. He just has to dial in for the next 3 minutes and try to slow this fight down, and he could potentially be walking away with a decision victory. But I know Mix-Ups. I don't think he's going to stop and try to take it to that point. He's always looking for that finish.
Yeah, 100%. He's got a dangerous rubber guard right now. He's got to be super careful. We don't know if Naz gets it. Jesus Christ! If Trixie gets it to Nal right now, it's going to be difficult for Mix-Ups to come back from that. But he's doing some good health damage, not really going with the elbow, which causes a bit more damage. Now he is, and this is dangerous. It really is.
Those elbows, I can tell you, have basically got his head almost destroyed as well. We can't see it, of course, but Trixie is now reversed position, decided to separate. I imagine he's going to press with the hands very, very actively.
11.
A minute 45 left on the clock, my man. Trixie's a veteran. He's going to go for it.
Trixie! Oh my God! Trixie's going to go for the win right now. This could be it.
Going for any shots he can. He's slow, methodical, trying. Jesus.
It's crazy. How does he do it? It looks like the fight's done. It looks like the fight's done. He's got his stamina 80%. How? And then he starts coming on in the later on the round. And Oliveira is now fighting for his life essentially. Mix-Ups, so he's got to be careful. I believe he might be 2 rounds ahead. We talked about that third round. But Trixie's got to get that finish, in my opinion, and he's got to do it fast.
Yeah, I feel like he feels that Mix-Up stamina is basically non-existent due to the workload that he's been putting. Can I have a quick check? 1-on-1. I don't know, bro. I don't know which way this one is. I think you might be right, Trixie. He might need a finish right here.
Looking at the fight stats of round 1, I think Trixie got round 1. So
really? Okay.
I think so.
You get lost in the commentary, so it's difficult. But it's going to go to decision, and they've left it to the judges. It's been a fantastic fight from both guys, and Trixie's Grand Prix career and back-to-back. You know, he's got a chance to go back-to-back Grand Prix winner. There could be a massive upset right now.
Bro, I don't know, bro. I don't know. We're about to find out which way the judges went. I'm glad I'm not a judge, Doc. I'm glad I'm not a judge in this one.
Ladies and gentlemen,
here we go. Oh, Oliveira looks upset. Does Emporio looks upset? Who knows?
29-28.
Who's going to win? The GOAT, or is it mix-ups?
Dustin Poirier! Sweet Prixie!
He does it again. Clutch.
It was a unanimous as well. A unanimous decision.
Oh
so
my
maybe we got a
days.
little bit caught up, but what a goddamn fight. Respect on both sides of that. I think they both fought phenomenally there. Humble. Played out their socks, brother. Played out their socks.
No, it was a great fight. It's been a bit overruled because there's a lot of shit in the chat going on with you. We've got a lot going on. I'll break it down to them. I do not mind at all. The reason Naz is coming back into this tournament is because the opponent that beat him cannot make it to the next round. There's nobody else going to jump in that spot but the person who he beat in a close fight. There's no people that have been competing in another organisation, have never competed in the last 7 months. There's no people from another side of the bracket because they just had an opportunity. It's going to be the person that he beat that can make it and he can't, and that's the reason he's going to step up. There's no other bias or anything else to do with that. If me and you are going into a competition and you can't make it to the next level, I'm taking your spot. It's simple as that.
We've seen it in things like Tough, brother. You know, if you ever watched Tough, like
exactly.
same things that happen, right? People get injured, things fall through. So, no, yeah, I think you're 100% right there, my man. I think you're 100% right. But I'm gonna throw it to Doctor or in a moment.
Yeah, we'll find out what's going on. We don't know. Doctor's been wrangling. Doctor, what's happening next?
I believe there, brother. Just to, I'll take it over. He has actually posted some links there. I know that Doctor's still fixing some stuff in the background, of course. We are actually going to be going right now to ICB Pug and BFAP Jakey. I do believe, from what I'm seeing,
Yeah,
they
100%.
are
Yeah. ICB Pug, someone had some personal issues that he had to deal with. Just like I said about myself, I compared his situation to mine. You know, you got to deal with your personal life sometimes during these events, and that's exactly what he did. We're completely understanding that. That's why he moved some things around, and hopefully he comes back fully mentally ready because he's going to be fighting an absolute killer in BFAP Jakey, who looked phenomenal in his fight against Cap a lot. But Pug didn't look too bad either, Cyrus, in his fight.
No, he truly didn't. He truly didn't. He's been, like I said, Pug is one of those guys that when he's on his A game, especially, he is a menace, bro. He brings a very, like, honestly, it can be a frustrating style. He's just so efficient on the ground. He really does work you in those positions, and he sets it up with some really, really effective distance management and utilizing his jab effectively. Doc, I'm gonna throw it to you, my man. We have Jakey B, ICB the Pug, going into this one. This one, of course, in lightweight. Both guys have been known to have highlight knockouts on their resume and being tough no matter where this fight goes. But with Jakey B going somebody like Conor McGregor up against somebody like Pug with Dustin Poirier, I truly do not know which way this one's gonna go, my man.
We've seen Jakey strike for a long time now. We saw it first with Killer Jake, and since then it's evolved forward and more as time gone on. Pug, on the other hand, has always been a striker, but his grappling has evolved. Now, Poirier does give the grappling advantage. McGregor gives the striking advantage. Poirier is very competitive on the feet against the McGregor. Who do I personally give being the betting favourite here? Probably Jakey. However, Pug and his weird striking style, as we mentioned the first time we saw Pug, is notorious for being difficult, and so if Jakey can't make a read on it early, Pug's going to be able to get ahead.
We've seen a lot recently from Veteran Savvy, and these guys who are ranked higher seem to be doing well in the later rounds of the fight. Jakey B is, for me, been making fantastic adjustments lately. He's been landing head kicks for Will, and it's his setups. I'm a head kick specialist, this is what I do, and I don't class myself as one of the better players in the world. Right, I class Jakey B as one of the better players in the world because he sets up his head kicks and I'm watching, I'm seeing those movements, I'm seeing what he's doing. But Pug is unorthodox. He is one of them players that can kind of catch you off guard, and he uses his jab and utilises that really, really well. So it's going to be a fantastic matchup, but I'm looking forward to the later rounds of this fight, Cyrus, if it goes that far, because that's where this fight's going to be won, from my opinion. If it goes past the first, it's going to be those adjustments.
Yeah, push through, but I will say that traditionally Pug is not the guy going forward. He's the guy putting the pressure on his opponents. But right now, Jakey just not allowing for any of that. He has kept that jab straight in the face of Dustin Poirier, pressed him up against the cage behind those black lines, Doctor, and for my money is continually landing the better shots.
He is landing the better shots overall, as you can tell by his own lovely head movement there. Gets him away, makes Jakey not on the throw. But you are seeing a lot of jabs and a lot of straights by Puck. He doesn't really care about throwing hooks. You see him throw that jab, followed by that straight. And then when he's in the pocket, all he's doing is throwing down the centre line. If I'm Jakey, I'm looking for the slips when he can. However, doing it like
come on, Jakey.
Jesus.
What a bloody performance. I'm telling you now, Jakey's a different Jakey. Like, people were talking about Jakey. He doesn't play the game anymore. He doesn't. I've watched Jakey the last 3 or 4 times I've fought against some of the best players in this world, and he's put them out in spectacular fashion. There's been some adjustments that he's made. There's been some fantastic fight IQ. When it matters, he turns up, and that's what's important, Cyrus.
Yeah, no, exactly right, brother. Exactly right. He rises to the occasion. It was something that he potentially suffered with early in his kind of run in the UFC 4 community, but I spoke to him about it, and he's really dialed himself in. He really wants to bring all of his skills to full fruition, and I believe that he's doing that, Doc, in these performances, showcasing that he is a complete mixed martial artist, and he is now at that stage where he's willing to take those risks because he believes in his abilities no matter where that fight goes, and gets the finishes as a result more often than not.
Yeah, and just believing in your ability can get you very far in this game. Understand, okay, maybe I'm not the best, but I believe that I'm going to be able to win this fight, and that type of mentality, that confidence can really allow you to just subvert the nerves that you could have in a league fight and really put on the best performance you can.
Well, humble, bro. We were talking about how well Jakey is doing, but as you mentioned a little bit earlier on towards the beginning of this round, it is about how Pug is going to be able to adjust to it, because of course Conor McGregor traditionally is the one starting fast. Will he make it there? Saved by the bell potentially, brother, but...
What a fight.
Yeah.
What a fight. I'm impressed with Jakey, I really am. Even though Pug is a good friend, he's landed around the same damage. That's the crazy part. Like, if you look at the head health, head health's very similar. I think it's just in the favour slightly of Jakey, and obviously the rocks and the stuns would agree with that. But Pug's nowhere near out of this fight. It's very close, and 2 of those shots that you just landed right there could essentially put his lights out of Jakey, and Jakey's got to mind with those shots because Pug's dangerous no matter what, and if he follows that with a head kick or something like that, it could be game over.
Engages in the clinch, gets the takedown this time, Doctor. Is he able to follow him down? Not this time. Jakey B.
I really want that takedown. I mean, I'm a bit confused. Why? I think I understand the idea of your Poirier, and he has the better grappling stats, but he's also Jakey.
Well,
the man, although he's a grappler, is a striker through and through. Got the grappling credentials to suit part of that beef up now, shouldn't take down on his own, but not deciding to follow him up. He's pinned against the cage, and this is what he's doing now.
Do you not just feel like that it's the necessary approach against Conor, especially when he's lighting you up with some hands like this? Those takedown mix-ups, Humble, set up the hands, as we maybe mentioned in the past.
Yeah, definitely. Credit to our wrangling team as well. We've got to do... Oh, beautiful work! This could be it! Oh!
Jesus! That elbow should have done more.
Yeah,
that elbow he got.
Because it was the lead elbow,
lead
one, wasn't the rear one.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. It is stupid. I understand both elbows should kind of... But if you think about it, the momentum from the hip...
This is my...
Oh, it drops him!
A couple of jabs have come out now. Lovely read on that clinch. You realised
that. Oh, it drops him!
Off the break against the cage. 2 minutes left on the clock, and a takedown follows suit.
We go for the ground and pound now, but obviously wise to it. The Pug, he's trying to get the movement. Oh, he gets the posture up, and now he's going to get some extra damage, and this could be it for the Pug, and it is. Jakey gets the win, and I keep saying it, Cyrus. I've been nothing but impressed. His last performance before this event was one of the best performances I've seen in a prime time octagon. His finish, if you've not seen it, I've paused it time and time again. It's one of the best combination finishes I've seen in prime time. It's absolutely fantastic. It was an elbow uppercut, straight head kick. Absolutely brilliant finish. And he knocked his opponent out clean. Jakey B's just beat a 0-5 guy before coming through and now finished in Capelotto, who beat him over and then beat Pug in a fantastic fashion. He is going to get his shot at the title against Dirty Dave. And that is going to be a brilliant fight.
Yeah, and it's well deserved, brother. Well deserved. Much like we were saying, mix-ups, earlier on, who, of course, his his run was brought to a halt. Jakey B is another guy just like that who is playing out of his socks here this evening and now finds himself in an early position to secure that gold, and what an opportunity that is for that man right there. He has kind of fought his way through the trenches, and I think it's almost fitting, Doc, that he's fighting against one of the long-standing champions like Dirty Dave, his teammate, somebody he's going to be very familiar with, to really, really kind of propel himself into that final should he be able to get past him.
Yeah, and that's what Jakey's will be running. By the looks, you could end up with a four-way BFAP team here, and it's going to be an interesting one to see how, especially after this next fight, how Jakey goes against his own teammate of Dave. Both of them are grapplers and strikers together. Both got high fight IQ, so it's a weird one. There's not many differences apart from their overall achievements within the community, I would say.
It'll be absolutely insane if BFAP Slick beats Naz and you get a four-way. It's a four-way between your teammates, like that is absolutely incredible. Like you got BFAP Jakey versus Dirty Dave, you got BFAP at the moment in the Xbox division must be on an absolute high, Cyrus, because that is absolutely insane.
Yeah, no, 100%, bro, and it speaks volumes to what that camp has been through. They are one of the longest lasting camps in the community, period, and they have continually, season after season, in promotion after promotion, showcased that they are at the upper echelon, when it comes to competitive play. It has been absolutely beautiful to witness up until this point, but talking about absolute killers, we have... Well, obviously, I'll throw it back to you, Humble. We have obviously a bit of a switch up in that next fight. But
talk about it. Let me talk about it for a bit. At least 30 seconds, Cyrus. Let me talk about that. So we have next up, we have BFAP Slip, obviously trying to make it a full win for BFAP against. It's going to be EK Naz, and the reason is, like I've said before,
it was meant to be Vax Paps.
Yeah, it was meant to be Vax Paps, but Vax Paps, he gave us a message that he can't compete any further, and because he couldn't compete, it was such a close fight in that fight. The person who's in that bracket, your opponent, didn't make it to the next round. They weren't able to fulfill their contract, their obligations, essentially, Doctor. So the person who they were fighting steps up, essentially, and that's why it is. The other people in the bracket, Leaks and everybody else, have had their opportunity to fight the champion and other people, even though they did amazing. So did EK Naz as well.
It's Trixie. Right,
yeah, exactly.
The way this fight is, you're fighting arguably the GOAT, and you're fighting one of the best, a former champion who was the champ before the very last card, where Dirty Dave came out and went to a decision against the man. If you have that in the final, that fight's going to fall 5 bloody rounds, and you just know it.
Do you know what I love about this card, Doc? Do you know what I absolutely love? And Cyrus, well, you've had Dirty Dave tested by Leaks. You've had Jakey tested by Cap a lot. You've had Pug and was tested before that as well. Everybody who's kind of gone through the brackets of Naz as well was beaten by Pab. So Naz beat Slick, and Slick was fantastic. Every single person going into this four thing is being tested apart from Slick. So we'll see how he does against Naz. It's going to be a fantastic fight, I guarantee it, no matter what. Yeah. But everybody's being tested in their own right.
100%, brother. 100%. Look, there's no easy fights here. Even when there's short notice replacements, right? We're going the highest ranked. It's only the best that are making it to this stage. And Naz fought valiantly in that last one. He took every single fight that was presented to him. Didn't quite go his way, but he now has an opportunity to change the tides of fate. Claim a goal, potentially at least get one step closer to claiming gold in Primetime MMA, which is one of the titles that he has not been able to get to this stage, right? So I think this is, a battle between an old veteran of Primetime MMA that's still surging to this day, and of course a newer blood, I suppose, within the community, and somebody that is hungry to secure another title to his name.
Yeah, you've got a lot of people hating on him as well. Like, obviously, there's a lot of controversy with the ESFL stuff. I don't quite dig into that. I mean, you don't, Cyrus, and I don't, Doc works for the ESFL, so he's a bit more involved with that. But we don't get involved. We don't get involved in most of the community. We focus on ourselves and focus on prime time. But it's all based on, things that have happened and whatever. But Naz is creating a splash in the community, and there's a lot of haters when that happens. There's a lot of people that support him. There's a lot of haters. And when it comes to the prime time, that's all we focus on. He hasn't been the most successful. So in his first or second prime time season, he didn't do that very well. The last season he was undefeated until the current fight he just had, which is the start of the new season. He hasn't been beaten in the last 2 years, essentially. So it's very interesting. I do like people who cause a splash. You have to make a scene. It's entertainment at the end of the day. People forget this. They think it's about just playing. It's not. It's about making a scene for your community and growing your community together and making people want to freaking watch you and watch the people that are on this. What's the freaking point in doing this if you can't grow the community? And that's why Naz is so interesting. Now, does he get a bit of flack because of that? Yeah, 100%, but it's more interesting to watch.
If you don't have haters, you ain't doing something right, my man. But nevertheless, you've got to be able to get those performances. As you said, he was undefeated till his last match, and we'll have to see if he can get back to those winning ways against one of the trickiest of opponents there, dog, in Nathaniel Diaz, in the hands of BFAP Slick Colt.
Lovely little takedown there. Nice. Now takes him back down. Taking Oliveira down. Interesting call, but you remember Diaz is well versed on the ground overall. He's got fantastic jiu-jitsu, humble, so maybe that is what Slick Colt wants to exploit here.
I absolutely love the confidence from Slick Colt. Last fight, he's very confident in that fight. He had a great game plan. Slick Colt almost like walking around with the swagger, Cyrus, and he's picked Nick Diaz in this one. Not the best attributes. Going at this one very slow. Bad footwork. Really bad footwork. One of the biggest attributes that you need in this game, and one of the attributes that makes fighters good, Peter Yan, Robert Whittaker, all those kind of OP guys, is their footwork, and Diaz doesn't have any of that. He's got great boxing, great jiu-jitsu, but Charles Oliveira has almost absolutely every attribute better than his on this game.
Yeah, other than maybe his chin and durability, right? Those are the areas that Nick Diaz really, really excel in. I think that this move from Slick Colt could play to his favor. If he's diligent about it. He has been a striker for a very long time. But Doctor, here it is. This is
the deny you want. Now digging down to that body is exactly the play to do. Slick's looking to get out of that rubber guard. Finally does, but that's a lot of damage. Kimura attempt now does get denied.
He gets it denied.
One, you have to be so careful of that. Stamina was so low for a second that another sub attempt may have got by, but back up to full. Slick understands that maybe the rubber guard ain't the best place to be, and here we are in full guard still.
I absolutely love his fight. Slick as well, like he doesn't care. He's got a game plan, but Naz is trying to offset that rhythm at the moment. I don't know what's quite going on with that hand at the moment, so I've not seen that before.
So he's using undeniables, and Slick Colt is one of the first to ever really, really develop it. It's actually meant to be an intended part of the game, but the AIs even do it themselves. But it's basically
the fakes weren't intended as part of the game. I'm pretty sure they were just fluke.
Even the AI do it, bro. Even the AI do it. It's mad. But either way, it looks like Naz is going to have seen it all, right? He's going to have seen it all, and quite clearly he was adjusted to it in that position, able to reverse it now. Not a lot of time, but that's going to be confidence building for sure. After your opponent was,
who was doing it? Was that Naz or the other way around? I'm confused.
Way around. It was the other way around. Bro.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough. I have never seen that before, but yeah, it's interesting.
That's Slick Colt, man. Like I said, he's a tricky guy. He's been a grappler for a very, very long time. People forget it due to the hands that he's brought to the octagon as of recent. But I think that honestly was a really, really good moment for Naz. He's going to be feeling confidence on a high right now. Who's
winning? Because obviously the ground game, it's been elbows from Naz. Yeah,
it's the elbows from Naz.
It's the elbows from Naz. It's the bodywork afterwards. You can just see it in that body. Naz is the one winning here. I mean, the Diaz pick, maybe not the best idea in the world, but it's Slick Colt. To quote him, he doesn't use the guys who are met. He just uses the guys who are fun, and that's a nice way to play the game. And it makes for some very interesting picks, like Nate Diaz here.
Yeah, nice work. The elbows right there. You see the damage. I didn't actually see the overall stats for the significant strikes for Naz, but I wonder if them elbows count as significant strikes. If they don't, what the fuck?
So they didn't, man. He only had 4 in his favor, whereas Slick Colt actually had 8 of them.
How does that make sense?
I know. You seen what Bisbin did to GSP and those couple of little elbows?
Well, they're worth more. They're like 7. They're at like 7 on I think 7 or 8 on the actual scale of damage. And if I go back to it, a significant strike from Sprawl is 6, so it doesn't freaking make sense at all.
Well, nevertheless, they find themselves on the feet for the moment. For this moment, Doctor seem to be content to throw hands and duke it out, trying to land some big shots on each other. Oh, flurries like that are going to do Slick some huge favors if he's able to capitalize on some of those kicking kind of motions from Diaz, from Naz, on the inside.
Pressing him right now back to the fence is Slick. Slick really trying to put the pressure on, but Naz gets the uppercut and drops his opponent. Looks like he's in cruise control at the moment. Very, very good performance so far from Naz. His stamina is a bit better. The shot selection's a bit better. In the ground game, dealing with Slick Colt has been very, very good. Maybe a bad pick from Slick Colt so far, Doc. As
Maybe, but again, Slick Colt is fluid in all of his arsenal here. He may have got knocked down, but now he's just slowing down the entire fight, kneeing him a couple times to legs, and now he's got the takedown.
Honestly, as mad as this is, Humble, this is what Slick does. He's always out there with the unorthodox picks, and he does it on a competitive platform time after time after time.
You gotta respect it. Yeah, you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. I've seen him. One of the highlights I did for him, he knocked out someone with BJ Penn. So yeah, he's a very, very interesting competitor. I've got to respect that. I love that myself. I do that myself a lot, and I lose a lot of freaking fights because of it. But when it comes to winning this belt, unfortunately, when you're playing the best players, the meta picks usually help in that sort of selection, and it does kind of go to your detriment. You can get away with it a few times, but we talked about it earlier on, though, Cyrus. You dance with that devil a few times, and it goes the opposite way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly right. Does now find himself in bottom position, but of course the guard in the jiu-jitsu world is a dangerous position to be in. There's a lot of opportunities, especially since both guys have rubber guard, and of course an absolute plethora of submissions at their disposal. But Slick utilizing some good movement to take his back, Dog, and there's still about a minute left, which he decides to separate on. Yeah.
He's got a minute left, but Slick's cardio is fairly low when compared to Naz, now engaging into that pocket. Both of them just firing wildly. Seems like Oliveira's having a bit better in terms of overall boxing, but it does look like Diaz is clipping him on the occasion here tonight.
Interesting to note, though, Humble, as well, right, that the stamina is actually lower for Diaz in this position, which is a bit odd. Oh!
Yeah, nice work. It's because of the movement. The way he's catching him going forward, it's obviously it takes a lot less to defend certain things than it does to actually do the offensive takedowns, the offensive transitions, things like that. You'll be more active, and essentially, if you get to Naz, that's where you get caught. Beautiful work so far. I feel like Naz is 2 up. It's a close fight in that second round, though. That second round could have gone essentially. I can't remember the rocks and stuns, but it could have gone either way from what I remember. But so far, the head health, the stamina, everything is kind of leaning towards Naz's way.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a judge. I mean, that first round, looking at the statistics or the glimpses that we had of them, it could be 1-1 going into this third one. We've said how big this third round is, but of course, there is advantages on Naz's side right now, Doc. He has a stamina advantage, slight health advantage, and seems to be riding some of that momentum with a big spear to start out this third round.
Yep, he's staying calm, he's staying composed, digging down to that body. He knows that all he needs to do is wait and be patient.
Ring, doctor. Is that Dirty Dave with that spear?
A submission attempt denied from Slick Colt. He is staying patient in these positions, getting off some very good denials, not allowing Naz to advance the position and potentially trying to wait for the referee to stand it up, which he may get any moment.
Yeah, he does. It's very difficult on the feet. The movement of Nate Diaz is not the best, so it's going to be hard for him to kind of close the distance. He's one-dimensional as well. He doesn't have a lot of kicks, so you've got to kind of close the distance with the boxing, the head movement, the takedowns. There's a lot there, and Naz is starting to deal with that really, really well. He needs to be careful of getting countered on a slip.
Yeah, he was out of stamina on a few of those shots, but he was trying to follow it up, but. Oh my God, bro! These guys swinging leather at each other.
Gotta respect it.
It just seems like if Slick had a bit more power in his punch, if he had a bit more pop, he would be clipping Naz on a couple of these occasions. It just seemed like Oliveira's power and his chin overall have just made Slick have a lot of difficulty here.
A lot of respect as well for these guys. A lot of these guys are UK, Europe times, sometimes 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night in Europe and to 11 o'clock at UK. Some of the US guys have it easy. Sometimes don't even freaking realize they're 4 or 5 hours behind Cyrus. So, 6, 7 o'clock for them while it's midnight for other people.
Oh my God, 2 minutes, bro. This might be it.
This is it. There's no way that he does not get this. There's no way.
He doesn't get the chain, so that's a benefit into the favour of Slick.
He's got nothing. His stamina is at 0. There's literally frick all his stamina.
They're both creeping up, and we have a random advert up here at the bottom.
It's over. It's absolutely over. Guaranteed this is over. There was no absolute. Once he went for that submission, there's no chance he can get it. Credit to Slick taking this one, but Naz gets the Kimura finish in I believe it's the 3rd round. Moving on. And a lot of people say he didn't deserve the spot. I don't understand that, but yeah.
I mean, showing that he deserved it right there, able to get a big win over a tough opponent. Like I said, the wild card spot kind of bringing him back into this, into this fight, Doctor, giving him the second chance, that second opportunity, and my God, did he seize it. It does seem to be the story of the night, to be honest with you, that these guys that have answered the call, that have had opportunity, kind of, in this case, I suppose, strike twice, they're capitalizing on it, man. They really are capitalizing.
Yeah, he's capitalized brilliantly, and that's what you want to be seeing if you're in that Naz position. Losing back-to-back may have not been the best idea, so managing to get that win the second time round is always good.
But that being said, we have 2 fights left. Two fights before the main sort of championship match. Yeah, of course. But we've got Dirty Dave. It's going to be a title fight against BFAP JB. Please, whoever that invites that, make sure it's a 5-round fight. And then we have Trixie versus Naz as well. It's incredible that we're going to have some of the top competitors going in this one. It's a bit strange because, some people are going to have different sort of records than they usually would have, Cyrus. But Naz is going to be 1-1 at the moment. Could go 2-1 here. It would be different, obviously, because of Pabst. Like I said, I'd like to see that fight in the future. But next up, we have the title fight that is Dirty Dave. He's been flawless so far. Leaks give him some absolute problems and tested him left, right, and centre. Jakey has been flawless. He's been, for me, the best fighter in this competition. He's had no sort of issues. Even with Capalot, someone who's not a 5 over him, I felt like he handled him pretty well. And now he's going to have a chance to beat the champion on an absolute confidence high.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a teammate. He's going to know his style very, very, well. Going to be fundamentally probably no surprises in this fight for either competitor. But if I was a betting man, Dirty Dave has, had to battle adversity every step of this way. Whereas, of course, standing across from him, his teammate has almost been pitching shutouts, to be perfectly honest with you. He's been looking as dialed in as ever. So, Doc, I don't know which way this one's going to go, but I 2 absolute veterans throwing down. In the very first cycle, like I said, this left-hand side of the bracket having title fights each and every time, bro, it's an extra level of spice.
Yeah, it's going to be an extra fight, but it looks like we're going to have to wait 2 seconds, one more fight before we get to see that fight. So we're going to have Trixie versus Naz.
What? We're going to go straight. Oh my God. Naz's fight is straight away as well.
Now, we do have to make one comment, though.
People, go on.
This is light heavyweight.
Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. Who decided on that?
Me and the matchmakers.
Well, at least you own it, brother. At least you own it.
Do you know what? The light heavyweight's a tricky one. It is really tricky. If you ban John Jones, who's the cheesiest fighter in this game, apart from Overeem, I think, you have to play like that with John Jones. There's no choice because you don't have great boxing. If you ban him, then everything kind of opens up, in my opinion, because everyone else is kind of similar.
Apart from Cormier, who has no body.
Yeah, but he's got great rest. He's got other attributes that kind of.
But it looks for it though. Naz is vanning Jan Blazkowicz.
I got calf all day.
You'll go calf. Should be noted, just as we let these guys up, the final round will be welterweight.
I just said in the chat as well, you got to respect the fighters that fight. A lot of people talk about Naz. Now they can talk about Naz because he is fighting Cyrus. So I'm saying, respect Jakey, respect Dirty Dave. I know you don't like Naz, but he's fighting.
Both of those
now they're talking about Naz.
Everyone who's competed so far, you've done brilliantly. You've spent 7 months getting up to this point. And even the guys who are now 0-1 at the very start of the season, you're still the top of the division.
That's the thing, it kind of frustrates me. Like, we literally, I worked it out recently, it's 7 months since our last Grand Prix. Cyrus, we were talking about it earlier on. We've done countless videos on all this, and the guys who've competed throughout the season, some 20 plus, some 7, 8, and then, there's a lot of talk in the chat on the day because it's recency bias of different leagues and different stuff going on. And it frustrates me because there's a lot of work that's gone into this from ourselves, from the competitors and from the other stuff. You've got to respect that. You've got to respect the amount of time they've put in. And we as a league as well, bearing in mind that other leagues now focus on team-based, where you focus on individual players. You've got to put the time in as an individual player to build your rankings to get into this individual tournament alone to become champion. And that's what the respect comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
And you are the champ. Your camp isn't the champ, but you are the champ. And you defend your belt in that division.
Well, prime example, best sort of fight for me this year is Dirty Dave and Trixie. You don't get that in other leagues because it doesn't exist. So,
and they're both on the same team.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's the same team fighting each other, and I think they're the two best players at this time. But obviously, other people can prove me wrong because it's about it. You've got a chance right now to do so. But for me, this season, them two have proven that that's the best competitive partnership. Trixie versus Dirty Dave for me it is the Fad and Nater and Trixie of last season. You know, it is the Islam and whatever Oliveira of this sort of UFC period. It's like that's what I love, and that's what I love about Primetime. We have these long seasons that build up to this Primetime Grand Prix, and all of a sudden these guys have a chance to kind of prove everyone wrong and win as many fights as they can and become a champion.
Yeah, and it allows people to really, kind of set their own pieces of history, right? I mean, with these longer seasons, it's allowed for people to maybe run fights back 2 or 3 times. It's allowed for matchups between these guys to fully and truly play out, and over such a period, having to truly go through a gauntlet like that, where you can be fighting anybody really, from unknown fighters who are looking to make their name to well-established threats within the community. That sort of constant revolving door, Doc, of bodies, styles, and what people bring to the table mean that you always have to be on your feet and always have to be improving your skills.
Yeah, you always have to make sure you're improving your skills because of. Just for instance, we're missing 2 top 5 ranked players here.
We're missing 2. Just 2.
KM Caliber and Fadinator.
2 big ones as well, to be fair.
Yeah,
but still.
Those are 2 massive ones who have given Trixie a run for his money. We keep going back to Trixie only because he's like the first big reigning UFC Primetime champion.
He's the GOAT of Primetime.
Yeah, he's the GOAT. He's the one who's been on the longest winning streak who's do it. So a win against him is a really big news. And so, even though you're seeing this now, this could all change within 2 weeks of running back to normal cards.
100%.
As you see completely different title fights, and that's I think that's what you've got to always be wary of, is whenever you see someone as champ, make sure to look at the top 5 below the champ as well, because sometimes the champ's only there as a placeholder.
Yeah, look,
I think we're ready though. We ready, Cyrus, for this one? We got Trixie and Naz.
No, sir, they are currently they had a little bit of an issue in fighting each other, so they have gone through a quick reset. They are very, very much close to this fight going ahead. They are just simply currently restarting their system and kind of loading up the game. So we will have ETA in about 2 or 3 minutes.
We've got to love technology.
Yeah, modern day technology. Yeah, it does, brother. It does. We've said it before.
Especially when you don't expect a fight and then you get put into a fight. You win a fight. Now you're fighting. You've got. And I'll be honest. If I'm Naz as well and I'm Trixie, probably Trixie and both Naz have their. I do. I don't know about anybody else. I do, and I'm not even a top player. Is I have my certain personal settings turned off so people can't send me messages and invites. Like there's certain things, because you know how it is, Cyrus. You get hounded on this game, especially if you're a good player, if you're a content creator, if you're somebody, you get freaking messages left, right, and center all day. So it's an absolute nightmare. So you've got to kind of go through that stage of sorting each other out. It's undeniable as well. Either you receive 60 messages a week, or you put your settings on private. It's simple as that. Yeah, so they might be sorting that out, for instance.
Well, no, sometimes, right, especially on these platforms. Obviously, I know that you play on the PlayStation side of things, but there are certain bugs with the Xbox with
don't get invites through.
Yeah, you don't get invites through occasionally now and again, so you have to turn the Xbox
the
off.
Xbox is different. Oh, the Xbox is trash. Sorry, yeah, I forgot the Xbox is trash. I do apologise, guys. I'm a PlayStation user. Sorry to the Xbox guys. I forgot about your shitty console.
Both consoles, Humble. I will not take you calling it the Xbox.
Do you remember when you came over and I smashed your face in? Just be cordial, Doc. That's all I'm saying. Just be cordial. Otherwise, I actually believe me and you should fight in the first, in one of the first events for next season, Doc. If we can get someone else to commentate.
I'm maybe in the Grand Prix. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but when you come back,
you'll show me.
You know, I already have. I'm like 5 or 6 and 2-1 or something like that, Doc. So don't worry about it. Me and you will fight this season. I will guarantee me and you will fight, and I will show you how superior.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here.
When he gets fucked up, I will ruin this man. But anyway, not about me and Doc. It is about these players tonight. And I was joking about this.
Hopefully these 2 are sorted.
We'll talk about what's happened so far. Dirty Dave came through that absolute fantastic fight with Pablo Grips. You've seen I feel like Dirty Dave's fighting with himself at the moment. I don't know about you, but he's a finisher. He's someone who likes to take his time. But fight with Leaks was brilliant. the way he came out and with Islam and kind of took control of that and won that fight, he's been a dominant champion so far. I feel like he's found his own. I feel like he's in his lane at the moment. He's found his consistency. He's found his sort of play style, and he's really the favourite for me to win this tournament.
Yeah, he's taken himself to another level, Dirty Dave has, and it's been a slow, and it's been a methodical rise to that top. And when he's got it, like I said, I think that it has really propelled him to some excellence. He's taking, each and every fight quite clearly seriously. He's pulling out all the tricks and having to in those performances. No easy fights are being given. Of course, each and every person has earned their opportunity at that belt. So, honestly, I feel like Dirty Dave, which is why I compared him to Usman, came out almost a little bit one-dimensional at first, very wrestling heavy, but over the years he has added tool after tool to his disposal, Doctor, and it's what's made him such the complete all-round fighter that we've seen today, that is now able to level that up and start to look for those finishes which maybe kind of weren't there, I suppose, in the first half of his run.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you want to do here, making sure your run's always consistent, that you're able to do it all humble.
Yeah, 100%. And there's a lot of people asking at the moment how they can join. As we may as well talk and promote the chat while we're waiting for these guys to get ready. And that's what we're doing, just waiting for the links to get back put in the chat. If you do want to compete in prime time, I will do a bit of market push and Cyrus. If you do want to compete in prime time, please join our Discord. We're having trouble putting it in the chat at the moment for some freaking reason.
Yeah.
But our Discord is pretty simple, Cyrus. I think it's just it's all prime time and Sky MMA at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah, you can go in prime time MMA. But what I will do, since we have a couple of moments to get this going, is that we'll
send a link in the chat. Yeah, we'll post a link in the chat for you guys to join. You click on there. We have a structure where we give every single person a fight. It doesn't matter your skill level. It does essentially in the end of it, because you will fight on. The more you win, the more chance you have of fighting on a sort of a card on the Friday or the Saturday, which is a live card, which is televised. But we have unaired fights as well, which you can build your record of, and I'll give you example of that. SNB Donna today, he had 2 or 3 unaired fights, and then he fought on 2 or 3 aired kites and won a couple of those to give himself a good ranking to get into this tournament. It was the same with Clover as well, Iki Clover, who got himself into a position to fight on those live cards. A lot goes into our production, a lot goes into our teams where you can fight into that, but you have to build your record. You have to kind of show us that you're worthy to fight a lot of these guys. There's Division 20s and then there's Division 20s, Cyrus, and some of these guys are different level from everyone else, and you've got to prove that you compete with those.
Rank 100%. Doesn't mean. Sorry,
it doesn't.
It really doesn't in the grand scheme of things, and I think I understand people's perception of getting being top 100 on those league boards means something as an ideal, but when you're in these leagues, when you're competing with the very best of the community, I think being top ranked doesn't really mean much, and instead fighting the people like these in this setting in a league fight under these lights means a lot more overall.
The pressure is amplified 100 times for sure, and talking about those high pressure situations, talking about those high level fights, we now have the pleasure, they're humble, the absolute pleasure, Doctor, for BFAP mother Trixie, potentially the powerful.
The chat's got to be exciting, right? The chat's got to be exciting.
Up against
I'm excited for this.
The controversial character, if you will, of Naz, bro.
3 and 2 as well. That's not bad. That's not bad. Like these two are going in this one. I feel like Naz has underperformed tonight. I've seen him do better. Ankalaev versus John Jones, very interesting fight. That tells me a lot of grappling heavy. You've got Trixie with a lot of different dexterity. There's a strike and attack here. This is going to be very interesting, but doesn't necessarily have that boxing, Doctor.
Yep, well, 30 seconds on predictions left to do. These two are already starting to fight, 30 seconds into their fight, and Trixie's the one putting on the pressure. This is 3 rounds. This is a lot different to what Trixie's used to. He's used to that 5 round, but he's already fought twice within the 3 round setting, so you can imagine he's slightly averted to it. Lovely takedown defense. Weird just as that, but we're back to this, and the uppercut gets met onto the corner of Ankalaev's head here.
Wow, not long to do predictions, guys, if you want to get them done. I think they're close right now, actually. Yeah, that was very quick. But yeah, these guys, I feel like John Jones is such a much better character pick. Cyrus is going to be difficult to beat him, but if I'm talking about what I do on ranked, usually to kind of combat that, it's usually the boxing pressure's got to be heavy. You've got to smother him when it comes to the knees, the elbows, and everything. You can't give him the opportunity. You've got to avoid the cheese as well. He's got brilliant elbows and knees. He's got brilliant spin kicks, and any sort of attacks on the ground are always damaging from John Jones.
Yeah, you have to be diligent in the way that you approach him. So many techniques at his disposal, from the knees, the elbows, the strikes from long range, and of course the short. But what makes them, both competitors right here, so dangerous is that they do actually have a really solid top game to back it up, Doc. And I feel like if the fight does hit the mat, whoever's on top is, as traditionally it is, really going to be in the driver's seat. Both guys very skilled when it hits that position.
Yeah, and what's really going to make the difference is who can keep their takedown defense as tightest, who can get their bottom game the tightest. I think they're fairly well matched up in terms of the striking as well as the general top game. However, it's a difference, it's a core difference on defensively that are going to be the biggest showcases of skill.
Yeah, definitely. And as one of my favourite competitors in the Xbox community and in the chat at the moment, Let There Be Light says, Trixie is one of the most composed players out there. It's completely true. He's one of those guys that he kind of makes reads, he does everything, he never gets overzealous essentially, Cyrus. He always makes those adjustments and keeps himself in the fight no matter what. Yeah. You can never think you're beating him.
And knowing Trixie, for as long as I have, I know that he's a fighter that does this basically in full flow state, kind of rather than actively thinking about it. So he just, that composure that he has, as the reason that he's won the primetime belt, the reason that he became known as the pound-for-pound champion, won the Venom Invitational, the ESFL championship. He has a lot of titles on his resume, but he is being met with a tough fight here, Doc, as Naz continues to tag him with some very clean shots with the block there.
Nice work.
Very clean shots overall, and that is what Naz wants to be doing here, just making sure you're just always clipping Trixie at any points you can.
My days. Yeah, it's close. I think Naz takes that.
Yeah, I think Naz takes that.
Very close. It's a close fight. The damage indicates that Naz might have took that as well, slightly. But here we go, the adjustments time. This is where champions are made. But a 3-round fight, it's very different for both of these sort of fighters as well. We don't talk about this a lot of Grand Prix fights and a lot of the fights on prime time in the esports community. They are 3-round fights unless you're fighting for a championship fight or your main event, essentially, Cyrus. Yeah. And in ranked, you often 90% of these guys that are fighting 5-round fights throughout, so they become accustomed to that.
Exactly right. And the takedown made and then a takedown returned from Swift Trixie, able to secure it with John Jones. He's going to have absolutely vicious ground and pound should he be able to posture up, but knowing Trixie, I would imagine a very diligent approach ahead for the next 3 minutes 50. Right, he's going to be respectful of what EK Naz brings to the table, and as we saw a little bit earlier on against his teammate Dog, he cannot be underappreciated what his skills are when it's on the mat.
Trixie saw how Naz reacted to Slick, and Trixie understands how Slick strikes, being part of that same camp. So you got to imagine, if you're Trixie right now, you've got Slick in your ear telling you how Naz is going to grapple, how he's going to look. The one crucial thing Naz doesn't have access to this time around is that rubber guard and full guard. So he has a lot of threats from full guard. He's got a triangle choke, he's got an armbar, he's got a reversal, he's got a bunch of other stuff. Right. However, he doesn't have that rubber guard, and that's kind of allowed Trixie here to stay patient, to stay steady, get back into it. But if Trixie stays on top, digs down to the body, gets a couple, postures up a couple of times, get a couple of significant
these guys are amazing.
It's just, they're so close in skill that they're kind of just...
They neutralise each other, Doc. And then you're seeing like nice little... There's not a lot happening, but there's a lot happening. Like, it sounds crazy, but...
If you're a neutral to this and you're not quite sure what's going on, there's a lot going on, but these two are so fucking well diverse at this game. They're so good at this game that they're denying each other, they're stopping each other, they're making subtle reads here and there, subtle denies here and there, that if you're good at this game, you completely understand and you kind of admire.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the salties, as we said, the devil is in the detail. I have to say right now, though, as soon as it hit his feet, and Goliath, Naz landing excellent shots and looking really good on the inside. Trixie needs to make those adjustments and start to try and get some respect back on the feet.
It's not, because it's light heavyweight, it's not the most entertaining slugfest that you can ever see, but it is a technical masterclass from both guys. I am worried about the head health of Trixie so far. I feel like Naz has landed the better shots. It's very interesting going to this one, because every time Trixie goes for those John Jones sort of clinch attempts, Naz is catching him inside, and that could be the difference between this round at the moment.
Now finds himself pressed up against the cage with Trixie looking for a knee on the separation. Only 5 seconds. Couple of final shots being thrown.
Oh my days!
What a fight being shown by these guys. They are really, really being pushed into the deep waters, Doctor. Being tested on the feet and on the mat. But now it comes down to that third and final round, brother, where it is all to play for, quite literally. The entire balance of their ability to challenge for that belt rests in this round.
Humble, it's your favourite round, and they are playing to your final round. That first round was close as all hell. Naz got the second round most definitely, and so now here we are in this third and final round, where Trixie is the one having to dig deep to find the opportunities. If there's any man who could do it, it's probably Trixie, but Naz is skilled.
I'm just going to say it right now, fuck you to anybody that says Naz doesn't deserve to be here right now, because he's given me gold to the pound for pounds, in my opinion.
Oh my God!
Champion, a chance, and Naz is really trying to get him away right now. Beautiful work, pull back, pull back. And that was an excellent read from both guys, but I was just going to say, if you think he doesn't deserve to be it, say what now? Because as much as you dig in and you say that guy doesn't deserve it, he's fighting for me, the champ, the god, essentially, Cyrus. He's doing a fucking fantastic job.
Really,
he may be. He's performing well. He's doing what he's asked to do. He may have lost the first fight, but
and Kawhi as well.
Come back and
that seemingly has woken him up. I mean, he is performing out of his socks right here. As Humble said, Trixie, this is his house, so to speak, man. He's been here for time.
This is his house.
He's got accomplishments, so many to his name. But right now, Naz is putting on a hell of a performance. Although he does now find himself on his back with 2 minutes 30 on the clock, and side control is a fabled possession of the BVAP boys. They are absolutely menacing when it hits this spot.
Oh God. Trixie is one of the best at turning this fight around. He's got 2 minutes and 15 seconds to do so. I believe he's 2 down. I think he's actually losing this round as well. But he's in a fantastic position right now, and he's got to get Naz out of there. In my opinion, I don't know about you, Doctor, he's got to get Naz out of there.
He's got to get Naz out. Trixie has just put him in 2 very deadly positions. No.
Trixie's coming on strong. John Jones is in top mount. He's starting to land some brutal ground and pound, but Naz hangs on to the game. It's 1 minute 20 seconds on the clock, and Trixie's got to think of something else, because Naz is now in danger. He takes 2 shots, he gets a rock. Yeah, exactly, Doc, and he's got to do something now to get him out of there.
Well, these shots are landing in a big way.
Naz has
55
got
seconds.
50 seconds.
Great job on regaining the half guard, but now once again he finds himself in side control. This was a nice job of getting back the half guard. Did not let him settle, but there's only 30 seconds left, Humble.
What a season we're going to have in front of us as well. Got like the likes of Naz, Trixie.
Is Naz getting knocked down this round?
I can't remember. I think he outstruck, but I think it might be. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Trixie got the upset against mix-ups at the moment. Naz seems comfortable that he might have won the fight.
I can't remember. And
these two need to fight 5 rounds, in my opinion.
I don't know. They both got a stun.
Guy in the Reds make this fight boring. Someone's head.
Naz
gets a win! Holy crap! He's gonna move to the fucking final.
29-28 across the board.
Did he pay someone, Cyrus, to do that for him? Oh, no, not on that occasion. So how did that happen? That's all I'm gonna say.
Naz stacked. Honestly, stand up. Like I said, he got the opportunity, bro. He got the opportunity, and he grasped it with both hands. Now finds himself in the finals. It means that we move on to the other side of the table. The left-hand side, of course, it went a little bit back to front, but nevertheless, I believe that these guys are going to be ready and raring to go. We are about to find out who is going to be challenging, or defending, I should say, the belt against EK Naz. Will it be the reigning champion in BFAP, Dirty Dave, or could it be the current contender here, Humble? in BFAP Jakey. The kid, though, the guy that has come out this event and honestly really shocked, I think, all of us here.
My standout performer for this entire tournament so far, he hasn't stepped a foot wrong. Dirty Dave's going to really have to take this guy seriously in order to get him out there. I think Jakey's on the best game that he's ever been on. His head kick setups are absolutely fantastic. I think he's got to wrestle. Dave's got to wrestle him. He's got to take him out of his zone. He's got to take his will from him and fight like Dirty Dave used to fight, because BFAP Jakey has not stepped a foot wrong in the entire tournament, and he's fought people that have been well ahead of him, just like Dirty Dave is right now, well ahead of him on that scorecard when it's coming into the fight. 5-0, 46-20. Doesn't matter. It's primetime Grand Prix. This is your chance right now to prove your point. And Daniel Cormier has got a sus body, so this will be very, very freaking interesting.
Honestly, I cannot wait. This one, of course, as mentioned, 5 rounds. It is for the Xbox Championship. The winner of this will defend in the finals against EK Naz. We have Jan Blachowicz on the right-hand side in the blue corner. That is the challenger, BFAP Jakey B. And then, of course, the reigning champion, Daniel Cormier. I think that's a great pick for him, Doc. The wrestling, the striking, he's going to have a lot of advantages out there, although he is going to be at a bit of a height deficit.
Yeah, he is. And the body deficit. Cormier does not have the greatest body. I will always say this continually. So these two are going to have a very fun time overall competing. However, in terms of overall picks, I would say Blachowicz is the better pick. However, in the hands of Jakey, it's I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is kind of right. Like, yeah, going against Dave, it's freaking difficult because you know he's going to try and wrestle you. You know he's going to try and do, but if you know kind of how to optimize those body shots, you know how to kind of. The problem is Dave's such a great player. Dave's the champion. He's the difficult person to be at the moment. Jakey's got to do everything. This will be a fantastic fight. These two deserve to be in the spot they're in. It's going to be interesting. On the other bracket, people are still concerned about who deserves what. But this one, we know these guys deserve to be. This is going to be a fantastic fight, Cyrus.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like that. Honestly, every single guy here tonight deserves to be here, bro. They've all earned this spot. We've talked about it ad nauseum at this stage, but we find ourselves now, of course, in the third title fight of this evening. Dirty Dave going to try and shut off his teammate in Jakey B, try and stop his, championship aspirations at this stage, Doc. They're a little bit hesitant. These guys, of course, now at light heavyweight, they hit so hard. Doesn't take too many to turn the lights out or to check that chin, brother.
It really doesn't. Both of them playing their games fantastically. Leg kick down to the below.
Oh!
Poor Jakey. He's been stunned and his legs now just been broken and taken down. If you want to be beaten up by Dave in any more ways, I don't think he could have managed it there.
Dave's fantastic at them leg kicks. Like, I've been practicing them in the area we talk about. Dave goes in. The test area is a brilliant area to kind of test those in. And when your opponent's kind of moving towards you, throwing a big strike or throwing a 2-3 piece combination, they actually double the strength. They're usually like a 15 or 16 amount of strength, and you usually get about. Oh my God, Jakey B's got him! Oh, he rocked him right there. Cyrus, what a fight.
The Polish power is real, my man. The Polish power is real. Land square on that chin, but he is not out of the woods yet. Daniel Cormier is still in this fight, still game as ever, but he is being pressed pretty well, Doc. Whew.
He is being pressed in very, very well, and Jakey's really got to make sure he keeps all his pieces intact. We've seen Dave before come in and just do a lot.
What a tournament we've had so far. Every single competitor tonight. We knew it was going to be close. We knew it. We knew the likes of Trixie, the likes of Naz, the likes of Dirty Dave, Jakey as well. Fantastic competitors coming in. And we've got like 1, 2, and 3, and then number 8 involved as well, Cyrus. So, it is like reflecting of the season that we've currently had. And every single fight so far has been very, very close. There's been very few shutouts, apart from the one Jakey B is in, but he's in an absolute war at the moment, and Dirty Dave is starting to put the pressure onto him.
Yeah, he really, really is. I think Dirty Dave has actually gone for a Superman punch 2 or 3 times in this first round as well, Doc. Maybe he has some reads from training leading up to this stage, or Maybe that's just a technique that he likes to utilize with DC, but it does leave him a little bit vulnerable for that Polish power to connect cleanly, and that could switch his lights out. We know how hard Blachowicz hits.
Yeah, but you also remember that the power of Blachowicz is slowly getting drained down with the leg kicks here, and he's doing just a fantastic job here, making sure to work that power down with the leg kicks and then engaging it.
But what Doc was talking about, how did you read that?
Every single shot he evaded.
That was crazy.
Matrix, man.
I was about to say, both of them got out of trouble there. Both of them got out of trouble. There was no sort of shouts landed. But I was about to say, DC's like Henry Cejudo, like Doc talked about earlier on, he's got to throw 3 or 4 shots to kind of close the distance. So that Superman punch is an initial way to kind of close the distance, to get in the pocket, to land your combinations, to land your wrestling, to get into the clinch. So it's a good way to close the distance when you're just on the kicking range, and it keeps your opponent sort of thinking about that as well. So it's a good tool for him to use. He's got to be careful getting sidestepped, though. He really has, Cyrus.
Yeah, no, exactly right, bro. Honestly, Dirty Dave right now trying to dismantle the rising star in Jakey B, the guy that's looked so sensational here this evening. I think that this fight is so close even still, but that left leg definitely locking a bit of mid-speed, and he gets a read, ducks it.
How did he know that was coming? Dirty Dave is now trying to cement his place into the final and win his 3rd fight of this evening. He has been outstanding throughout, and look at that from Jakey B. He is completely resilient throughout, Doc.
He is really resilient.
Oh my!
Change stance for God's sake! He won't.
He says.
He won't. He won't. He's like, yeah, getting leg ripped. Oh no! Jakey B! Can't see what's going on. Great camera. Great camera work from UFC as always.
Yeah. Fighting against the cameraman, but we now find Daniel Cormier in half guard on top of Jakey B at a big stamina, disadvantage. That head health has just recovered from a blinking stage dock, but we know how deadly these side control spots are for somebody like Dirty Dave, especially when he's got the advantage. He could be edging towards a victory right here, my man.
He's heading towards victory. We've seen him get the crucifix in before, gets a deny there, and now looking for a couple more shots.
This might be it. This might be it. Yeah, it is. Jakey B survives again. Coming in great at the survivability, but it looks like it's nearly almost done. The amount of work that Dirty Dave has to kind of do to finish this fight is not going to be minimal. And if everyone's asking, is it a 5-round fight? Every fight Dirty Dave is in tonight, it will be a 5-round fight until he's knocked out, because he is the champion. It's a title fight every single time he defends his belt.
Exactly right, brother. Exactly right. Of course, this is now actually the semi-final position. Dirty Dave defending for the 3rd time here this evening, if he's able to get past Jakey B, who is in some troubling waters right now, but it is not over. Not quite yet there, Doc. Although that might take it one step closer, my man. Lovely left hook. Once again for Daniel Cormier, sits him down.
What performance from Dirty Dave. Oh, big front kick to the face. Jakey B, man. I'm telling you now, he's going to have the season of his life next season. He's already had the season of his life.
Oh, my.
I know Dirty Dave's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, he's too much of the accumulated damage, gets the job done, and still, once again, Dirty Dave rides one step closer to almost a perfect streak here this evening, Humble. Now finds himself up against Naz in the finals, and only has to defend one more time here this evening. I mean, that's a big feat if he's able to do it. Big feat.
100%. And Dirty Dave can go 4-0 this season and put himself right up there. And Naz as well. There's so much controversy with him. I love it, but I hate it at the same time. It takes away from all the other fights. A lot of people say he doesn't deserve to be here. Just be Trixie! What are you talking about? Just be Trixie, just be slick. Yes, he lost to Pabst. Pabst couldn't make it. Pabst couldn't make the fight, so then his opponent, who had a close fight with him, makes that and took it on. Let's be real for a second. Took it on a minute's notice, right? He took it on a minute's notice. There's so much to this, and now he's earned his stripes by beating Slick and Trixie to get to the final. He's going to be fighting Dirty Dave, and if he wins this belt, 100% he deserves it. I don't care about any other controversy about outside this one. This is the two best competitors in this tournament that we've had so far. They have beat the best competitors going forward, and they're about to fight for the primetime Xbox Grand Prix going forward into this season. It's going to be a fantastic fight. I can't wait for it. And we had 4 people that could have potentially been BFAP members. Now it's going to be EK versus BFAP to end off the final fight.
Yes, sir. Honestly, sensational fights all the way through this evening. And as we wait for these guys to get squared across from each other, get their streams prepared for the final of the Season 4 Xbox Grand Prix, I think it's a great opportunity for the guys in the chat to let us know. Who do you think's got KO of the night so far as we discuss it right here?
Yeah, predictions as well. Let's get predictions in the chat right now for a couple of minutes because we're waiting. Jesus Christ, who do you I actually don't know.
Let's narrow it down, right? I think that in that first round, the way that Jakey got the finish up against EK Capalote, especially with it being EK Capalote, is absolutely massive. I think that's potentially.
I might say Pabs, you know.
You think the Pabs?
I might Pabs versus Naz, yeah. Like that was an insane sort of sequence, the back and forth, 1-1, he came out and dominated, and then he got the finish, and it was absolutely shocking. Like that for me was the knockout of the night so far. Pabs might have edged it for me. That was the most memorable anyway, Pabs knocking out Naz.
Yeah, could very well be, brother. I would be interested to see what everybody thinks in the chat. Doctor, do you have any standout moments for yourself here this evening? Maybe any standout finishes, brother, that's what's the stage?
A lot of stuff has happened. I cannot remember most of it.
I love it.
I remember most of it was fantastic. Most of it was good. And most of it's been a hectic night.
I love it.
Chaos, and it's been
crazy, Doc. It's what we love. It's why we do it. Hey, listen, guys, thank you so much for coming along tonight. We love doing this. We absolutely love Cyrus. We talk about it all the time. We love doing this. We have regular jobs. We work for corporate. We love doing this. This is what we do, dog. Every single guy that comes to this event, you talk to us, you put your names in the chat, you share you some of you subscribe, some of you like. We don't care. The passion, the enthusiastic people in this community, that's what makes prime time. That's where we put the effort that we do in. We don't get paid for this. None of us do. Absolute £0 for any of us doing this. We do it for the love of the community and for you guys, and that's why it's such a great community, and that's why we'll continue to do it.
Yeah, they're quite clearly right. Everybody puts their time, effort, and money into this, right? This thing costs them, whether you putting the hours in or not, and these competitors continue to put on, honestly, dramatic, sensational, edge of your seat sort of fights week in, week out. The storylines continue to build, and talking about all of the chaos that we have up until this point, we are about to see some of that chaos unleashed in the finals of the Season 4 Grand Prix. This is where it's all at, guys. Main event, Leon Edwards on the side of Naz UFC, the current reigning champion, trying to defend his belt one more time. One more time, Humble. It's going to be the one and only Dirty
Tough
Dave.
contest as well. It's tough contest. I wonder who these are banning and taking. What weight class is this? We don't even know.
It is welterweight. It's welterweight.
Is it welterweight?
Yeah.
Okay. Does someone get to ban and pick? I'm not even sure, because these have just literally jumped straight into their...
Yeah, of course. We skipped across a little early, right, of course, because they got a little lobbied up straight away. So they're going to be, kind of figuring that out right now. I thought that it was going to be Leon Edwards against Usman, but you never know. That might actually be the ban, my man. I'm sure we'll get word from the back any moment. Or if nothing else,
gets the ban first, where higher fight gets the weight class. I think that's what we did for the Grand Prix anyway. I know it was different for the season, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct, Doctor, that it was lower class fighter, which will be Naz, gets the ban, and higher class fighter, which will be Dirty Dave, obviously champion, gets to pick the first fight. Is that right?
Lower rated fighter gets the ban? Is that what we're going with?
Well, whatever. I don't know what you put out, Doc. I'm just asking. You were the one who put it out. That's all I'm saying. That's why I'm asking.
Where I put it out, but
whatever you put out, Doc, that's what we're going with.
I think Dave's banned Usman. I think that's what he's done.
How's Dave?
I think, yeah.
Fair
Apologies.
No, so it's all good, bro. Things happen. It's like I say, it's a tournament. It's different. Either
it's different.
We've had some
going GSP. I don't know who Dave's going to go, but it's evidently maybe a counter pick to not go GSP. I'm not sure at this point. Let's see how
predictions. Can we get predictions? Whoever's doing predictions, do the predictions now before we start. Just before, because I want to get this going. Sorry, Doc, if it is you, I do apologise, but what do you think about this matchup?
No.
Leon Edwards versus GSP. Cyrus, how do you make that? Unless it's someone else.
There we go.
Yeah, no, I'll go for it, brother. I mean, this is an interesting fight. If this is Leon Edwards, if that is actually who Dirty Dave is going to be going, then
it is.
I will be interested to see, because that means that he's going to be. It's not the right analogy, not the right analogy, but I think that he's going to he's going to try and chuck Liddell here almost.
There we go.
I think he's going to try and use his wrestling in defense.
100%. Predictions are up, by the way, before you go. Dirty Dave versus Naz predictions are now up, so I feel like Doc's just done that right there. There we go.
Yeah,
Doc, by the way, wrangling, doing everything tonight, taking people to hospital, doing everything he can. There's so much going on for everyone. Credit to our wrangling team, everybody coming from. Credit to all the players for showing up as well. We've had such a crazy... When you take a break, it gets crazy after a couple of weeks. But we are in the main event of this evening. We have EK Naz versus Dirty Dave. EK Naz is currently GSP with the blue shorts, and Leon Edwards in the black shorts is Dirty Dave, the current champion. It's a 5-round fight, Cyrus. We're about to crown the new Xbox champion of this season. First round, here we freaking go.
Yes, sir. This is where it's all been building towards, Doctor. This is the moment we have all been waiting for. Dirty Dave.
That was quick.
Clinching it up, but not able to get the takedown.
Oh my days.
This is going to be tit for tat the entire way, inch for inch.
Whoa, Jesus.
A battle of millimeters out here.
Hundreds of thousands bet on the predictions, by the way. That's crazy. Hundreds of thousands. That is the first time we've had over 150,000 bet on the predictions, and there's still a minute left. So if you want to, Christmas did come freaking early, Ollie. You are completely correct. These two are going tit for tat. I do love it. He's beat his teammate as well, Cyrus. There's got to be some mental sort of. I know Dirty Dave respects that. He's beat his teammate. There's got to be some respect there. But Dirty Dave gets him to the floor right now, and this is where he wants to be.
Yeah, Dirty Dave, although he is Leon Edwards, he is going to be very confident in all positions. Of course, you do not want to be on bottom necessarily with GSP, definitely more of a top control sort of fighter, but Dirty Dave is so diligent in these positions. Doc, he is very, very effective and efficient. He does not make very many mistakes, although we have seen Naz already. He's very good at playing the GA, so he's going to really have to concentrate on that to just try and get some sort of edge over somebody like Dirty when it hits the mat like this.
Yeah, you mentioned that Naz has got good control over Dave. A good control over Jay, but Dave is one of the top wrestlers in the world.
Yeah,
and that's not even an understatement. That's kind of what he is, and so he's understanding GA.
What a reversal!
I told you, brother.
He's done that to Dave and Trixie. It's kind of insane.
I need to interrupt. Use like a little UFC John Anik. The betting lines for this are 51% with 1,000k onto Naz, and then 72,900 onto fucking Dirty Dave. This is literally neck and neck. 51% to Naz, 49% to Dirty Dave. It couldn't get any closer apart from 50-50, Cyrus. So
yep.
This is pretty much. There's over 150,000 channel points. It's the most we've ever had in any competition. I do believe that's worth it as well. There's a lot of people watching this one. A lot of people root for their guys.
Yeah, 100%, brother, 100%. And as you can see, they are very closely contested. As we see Dirty Dave securing another takedown after them momentarily getting back to the feet. It's been active work, both on the feet, both on the mat. Big ground and pound being thrown, a separation with a couple of seconds left, and he leans into the front kick.
Oh, shit.
Jesus.
What a fight. What a main event we have right now. I genuinely thought it was going to be Trixie and Dave. I'm not going to lie. It was in my head. That's what I had. When Naz threw me off. Naz threw me off when he beat him. I didn't think he was going to. He proved me wrong. And in my head, essentially, we're talking out loud. And so far, this is neck and neck going. In this one as well, look at the damage. It's very freaking close. There's not much in there. Naz has just caught him right there. And you can tell both of these guys are high-level competitors.
Yeah, Naz is actually trying to up the tempo right here, Doctor, and he's having a lot of good work being landed. He's gotten so pressed up against that cage that, he just has no room to move or work, bro.
I will state this now, just for the clarity and just to put context to this of how we got here, whilst they have a brawl in between it, is Naz got beat, he stepped back in,
his opponent decided he couldn't fight.
He hasn't been beaten?
Yeah, no, not just that. Let's go Naz got beat in a very close fight. He lost. They were 1-1. In the third round, he got beat in the states that round by a opponent he'd already beat in the previous event we had. He took the fight on 1 minute's notice. He comes back. He beats Slick, BFAP Slick. He then beats BFAP Trixie, and now he's fighting BFAP Dirty Dave in the second round. It's a very, very freaking close fight. That's where we're at the moment, Doc.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's a bit insane.
It's crazy. It's crazy, Doc.
Definitely.
Why we love doing what we do. Look at the UFC recently. Look at what we do. It's very freaking similar.
It's
Very
just.
freaking similar.
It's nothing ever makes any sense, and
I love
it's
it though,
what,
but it's what we love. It's what we love. That's why we do
it's
it.
the prime time guarantee.
Exactly.
suppose
It's
what it is.
entertainment. It's entertainment. End of the day, hopefully everybody at home is entertained. We've gained viewership, so we must be entertaining at the moment, Cyrus. This is a fantastic contest. Naz is trying to win his first primetime championship. Dirty Dave's trying to go 4-0 and retain his belt. This is a great contest so far, and you can see Naz putting in the pressure, pressing Dirty Dave back to that fence, and there's a lot of anxiety and issues right there.
Yeah, honestly, like I said, this fight has been so closely contested. There's so much on the line. Naz's opportunity, I believe, first opportunity to claim primetime gold, but he is being met with one of the best, if not currently the best, within the community. In BFAP's Dirty Dave, bro, not just trying to retain that gold, which of course is reward in itself, but is going to be made a little bit extra sweet because he'll be able to avenge his teammates who Naz was able to get through in the last 2 rounds.
I have an issue as well with people. Like, you got to respect people where it's due, right? Like, me and Naz have never had the cleanest of friendships or whatever, and I've got to respect him for what he's done. He took that Pabs fight on a 1 minute notice. 1 minute, you've got to respect that. Then beating Trixie and doing what he's done so far, and then even the competitiveness against this fight with Dirty Dave at the moment and kind of pressing it back. You've got to respect people where it's due. You can't just hate people for hating people. That's not a good mentality to have, in my opinion. But people do what they want to do, and Dirty Dave right now, for me, is up against it. That's a tough round for him right there. It's a very, very close round, but it's a tough round, in my opinion. Naz might have won that one.
Yeah, I think it's a round apiece right now, going into the third. Obviously, championship rounds potentially maybe at play. This is for the Xbox Championship. These guys have pulled their way to this position, and they're not stopping anytime soon. Doctor, at the moment, it's anybody's game, brother. I really don't know which way it's going to go, but it does appear that Naz is trying to now continue that forward momentum that he was getting going in the last round.
Naz is leading. Naz is leading the fight. You can tell every time Dave goes to
my
engage,
God!
that rear hook is coming out.
He's got
And
it
that's what was
down!
happening.
Naz could be getting it!
Naz, every time Dave fires a combo or a shot, Naz is standing there and he's throwing that jab rear hook.
Oh, Dave catches
and
him.
clips him every time because the run
Dave needs to adjust. Oh, Naz has got him. This could be it.
Jab rear hook. Jab
Oh,
rear
he
hook.
catches
Followed by the
him. This
jab.
is going to try and win the title. This could be it, Cyrus. Danger right now for Dave. Absolute danger. He needs to get his back over the fence. The positioning of
this is it.
He's got him. He's got him against the fence, and Naz is going to try and win the championship. You said he didn't deserve to be here, and Dirty Dave might be defeated right now.
Those
my
BFAP boys
days.
in the ground and pound, so good at staying defensively sound, being able to survive those dire situations. But he needs to get off that cage, like you said. He's got nowhere to move. He's got nowhere to move. Woo! And new EK Naz from the ashes claims the gold that has eluded him for so long.
Okay.
Goodness. What an end to tonight's event.
He told me he was going to do it. I didn't believe him. Obviously, he got beat by Pat. We've got to do Pabs versus Naz. We got to do Pabs versus Naz. Incredible. Right, let's right. I'm sick of it. Let's give Naz his credit. He's just beat Dirty Dave and Trixie back to back. Please, guys. If you're denying somebody that beat Dirty Dave and Trixie back to back, go on, Doctor.
Yeah, he beat Trixie, he beat Dave,
Slick.
he beat Slick.
Back to back, right?
He,
They're the two best competitors in our league in Xbox, and he beat them back to back. In my opinion, fucking credit to the guy. And me and him don't like. This is why I get on. This is why I get annoyed, and this is why I've been defending him. Me and Naz don't get on. We're not not supposed to get on.
I'm
We're
not a
not
massive
on the
fan of the
PlayStation.
guy, if
Yeah,
we're
me and
being
on the
honest.
PlayStation side, we don't get on. But the amount of freaking hate he gets and the amount of stuff he gets, people say he doesn't deserve to be here. Right, listen, his opponent beat him and couldn't continue. Naz then therefore got back into the competition because his opponent couldn't continue. He couldn't take the fight with Slick. His opponent had a free shot against Slick, couldn't take it. Naz gets back in. Simple as that. Naz took the fight on 1 minute notice, Cyrus. Right?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like we've talked about it ad nauseum, to be perfectly honest with you, at this stage, but you're absolutely right. He, like I said, he had a bit of a stumble at that first block, had the opportunity to come back in, and I think that it leads to a beautiful storyline into our first Xbox or first kind of normal card back outside of these Grand Prix. Very well, maybe seeing Vex Pabst up against EK Naz. We will have to see how that shakes up, of course. Hopefully Pabst is all okay after not being able to continue that event, but credit where credit is due. Each and every motherfucking one of you competitors rose to the occasion here this evening, give us sensational fights to call. Yes. And from myself, obviously all the guys at Primetime MMA, from Humble Dink Doc, and of course all of the amazing staff that support us and allow us to continue to put on these events. We truly want to thank you for sticking with us throughout the years of building this community to the levels that it continues to grow to. Of course, this is only the start. The moon is very, very much within reach, but it has been another crazy event. We are going to call an end to it here. Make sure to stick around for the raid at the end, and most importantly, guys, if you're not already followed, make sure to hit that follow button. We will be back next week with the PlayStation Grand Prix. We're only heating up. The seasons are just starting. So until then, bro, stay safe. Much love and peace out.